Racing isn't easy, but experiencing it is. iRacing puts you in the driver's seat with the industry's leading sim racing game. Drive on laser scan replicas of the greatest racing circuits from around the world. Go head-to-head against other drivers chosen by skill-based matchmaking to ensure competitive racing at every level. Compete across all your favorite series. In officially licensed cars, engineered to deliver the most accurate driving experience possible. Join a race or host your own with players from across the globe. Race against the computer or in a league with friends. Feel the thrill behind the wheel. Visit iRacing.com.
When you want to be the best, you can't settle for the rest. For anything on iRacing, there's just one name you need: Maconi.
With the launch of Maconi Entertainment and Maconi Competizone alongside Maconi Setup Shop, we now provide the best of the best in setups, paint schemes, coaching, broadcasting, and event organization.
With cars across all 4 license classes, we have what you need to hit the track with confidence. Grab a subscription and save money while going fast at MaconiSetupShop.com/subscriptions.
And remember, at Maconi Setup Shop, there are setups, but your victories.
Tonight, Maconi Entertainment brings you the Full-Length Cup Challenge, and the Full-Length Cup Challenge brings us to Sonoma. Welcome, everybody, to some NASCAR Cup action. Again, as I said, here on Maconi Entertainment, I'm James Newton. Alongside me is Sky Schreck for the Beers Point 350 here at Sonoma. We're getting underway here. Again, my name is James Newton alongside Sky Schreck. Bringing you all the action. Morgan Cook in the booth, pressing all the buttons, making us look and sound amazing. Have a look here at this just under 2-mile track, 13 turns. Although if you look at a track map, there are all sorts of different turn numbers. But in 1968, been coming here for a while, and of course, obviously using the NASCAR layout. Missing out on the carousel, but that will not be us missing out on any action here. We have a look here at the driver standings. Conklin and Basin up at the top. Hoytsma in the 97, reasonably close there in 3rd position. A couple of other pairs of drivers separated by a single point at certain moments. Komacheski 6 points up as well from the cut line. Have a look back here for last week's winner, Sean Conklin in the 17, taking top honors at San Diego in the Maverick 250. And the 41 of Dyson, previously the king of the road, they say, and Conklin coming for that title. And we've got an interesting one on the way for you in just a bit. As I mentioned before, Sky Schreck with me, next to me here in the booth. Sky, how's it going over there? You looking forward to this one?
I think this is going to be a pretty good one here. Like you said, we got a full field of cars ready to go tonight. 40 drivers getting ready to take the grid here. Qualifying just wrapped up at Sonoma, and we'll get started very, very shortly here. It'll be interesting to see who's able to move up through the field over the course of this one.
Won't be any moving necessary for Andrew Dyson in the 41 on the pole. Sean Conklin alongside 2 Roadmasters on the front row. Further back here, Neil Pearson in the 62 lines up 3rd, 4th belongs to Jonathan Delaney. 6 Michelob Ultra Machine, Paul Hill in the 26 lines up 5th alongside Dylan Basin. The other RFK driver in 6th position, Alex Coffey lines up alongside Lucas Hoytsma, 7th and 8th respectively. And the top 10 consists of Nolan Hodgson alongside Robert Merlin.
Starting back in 11th tonight, Matthew David Wood in the 16 car will go off next to Ralph Hutchison in the 19. Alan Duggar in the 10. Starts from 13th next to Hunter Truell in the 71. It's Blake Giglio in the 8 next to Adam Benefiel in the 83 car back there in 16th. Cameron Stone in the 57 goes from 17th next to Joseph Gulata in the 99. And the last 2 cars in your top 20 will be Corey Moore in the 42 and Nicholas Isaacs in the 2.
For the back, we have Casey Graves and Sean O'Brien Jr., 21st, 22nd. 23rd is Blake Cloetre and Stephen Williams in the 98. 23rd and 24th. 25th is Timothy Harper alongside Tyler Hunter. 27th is William Owens and Chad Sonner. Evan Mesnard in the 29th position. Michael Tucker rounding out the top 30.
And bringing up your field tonight, it'll be Tanner Marty in the 29 next to Devin Medeiros in the 20. Thomas Kocheski in the 88 goes from 33rd next to Jose Medina in the 40. It's Jason Taylor in the 60 and 35th. Dustin Hall in the 1 and 36. And Bobby Anderson, Nicholas Roman will make up your final 2 rows. Thomas Kolmacheski, I apologize.
We have a look here at the grid here. We are half a lap to green, and it takes about half a lap to see all the cars here. And Sky, this is going to be an interesting one here. Obviously, decent amount of space on the first sector or so of this track, and then it is all S's through this section. So I'm expecting some too wide for brief moments, as we see there. 17 getting those tires warm here. Coming up through this very interesting section, turn 11, final corner on the racetrack, where you have to basically miss spearing into the pit entry, which is always an exciting challenge as long as you don't actually spear into that pit entry.
Yeah, we're going to see some tight racing here with that kind of first sector being a lot of uphill racing, then a lot of downhill racing. I think you'll see a lot of action. It is a pretty tight racetrack for that early section, so any accidents could cause problems. Stage 1, lap 25. Stage 2, lap 55. 5 sets of tires in a 21X incident limit tonight as we get ready to roll.
Around the final corner here, it's going to be a coliseum all evening, we're expecting. Grid bunches up. Drivers at the back still coming through that hairpin as they come around final left kink onto the start-finish straight. And we are green in Sonoma.
Andrew Dyson getting a pretty good jump there over Sean Conklin, who's going to bring that car right up in P2, all over the back bumper of that 41 early. Has got a couple cars 3 wide making some contact back there. Dylan Basin got into the side of Jonathan Delaney. Both these cars keep it straight. Neil Pearson holding 3rd right now in the 62, but he has Delaney all over that bumper as you see cars all over this racetrack, side by side here for any position they can get in the early portion of this race. Your top 2 have started to get away from Pearson back there in 3rd as we're side by side all over the field right now. Up front, Dyson still maintains that lead after starting on pole tonight. Conklin not far. Both drivers all up on that curb and maybe catching the grass a little bit there through that turn 9 complex, trying to get as much speed as possible. Here we go, side by side through the S's. That's not going to work for long.
That was Robert Miller there making up a spot on Alex Coffey for 8th, and now look where they are, 18th, losing 10 spots as they went through the chute. Now look down the inside there for the 10, maybe tries to go 2 for 1, not going to happen. A little bit of a little hop over there, over the curves, and a wall strike for the 8, and gets both the left pocket picked. Let's see if the right pocket gets picked. It does not, and it is frantic outside the top 10. Going to catch a replay here. Mesnard here in the 70. Working through the S's. Down into 11. Turns it in just fine. Do we loop it on exit? And the answer is yes, we do. And unfortunately for the 73, the field going by as they're still all bunched up Potentially a bit of cold tires here. And speaking of cold tires, Conklin trying to heat those rears up.
Conklin has already pulled out about 2 seconds back there to Neil Pearson, who's that third car in line. Your top two have absolutely started to run away with this one. Comparison to really everybody else in the field, and if they can keep this up over the course of stage one, it's looking like it will be the Conklin and Dyson show as we come around to complete lap 2. Looking a little bit deeper in the field here as we go back around that 5 car of Bobby Anderson. This is right towards the back of the field here. Blake Clou out right in front of him, and then you've got Jose Medina in this battle as well, just around that 30th position at the moment.
They are still trying to find the groove here. It is still very early stages. Speaking of stages, lap 25 will be what they're all pounding around trying to get to as efficiently as possible. You know, pick up the 12 here. And for a move potentially into final hairpin. Drivers again just starting to stretch their legs a little bit. A couple of gaps forming. Obviously, one of the largest gaps on the track, again, is that duo dogfighting out in front.
Looking back kind of at this battle for P8 right now, you've got Alex Coffey in the 54 car. Nolan Hodgson in the 12 has been trying to get a little bit on that car here over the last couple corners or so. That 12 is looking to move his way up through the field. Coffey already slid back one spot to P8 after starting in P7. Has dropped behind Lucas Hoytsma in the 97 for that position. Coffey will need to now look behind him as he's got to defend against Hodgson, who's come up really quickly in that rear view mirror. He'll look to gain some ground here in the S's and through this next little section of really tight corners. Maybe if he could get a good run out of the S's, he could pull this move in the hairpin here. I think he's plenty close enough to do that. You can see that blue and black car, that 16 of Matthew David Wood back there. He is joining this fight as well, so you can't count him out of this battle for 8th either. 3 cars all at the back half of the top 10 as Hodgson had to back out a little bit there to avoid getting into the back bumper of Coffey. We'll lose a couple positions we'll lose a little bit of time, as a result. Trying to set up the move down here into the hairpin, but I don't think he was able to get enough through the corner. He'll launch it in anyway. Nolan Hodgson going for P8. Huge power move for him, and it looks like he's going to be able to take that spot away from Alex Coffey. Coffey might be able to hold the nose. No, Hodgson's going to cut him off and take P8. Matthew David Wood is right up behind this battle right now as well.
Yeah, MDW on the way there. In a different series, former champion. And running in the top 10 quite well. You know,
I just saw Dyson slide off the track a little bit. He's having some problems up there in front, especially with Conklin running the fastest lap of the race last time around.
Conklin is harrying the 41. And the 17 doesn't look too comfortable either, but I don't think I would be comfortable if I was the race car. Car is going to be excited when they get out of it, getting pushed this way. And this may be happening right now here. I don't think Conklin has any patience for being in second any longer. Again, just getting the nose in early, almost sliding through, pushing, and now darts down to the inside. Not much of an overlap. The 41 has no intention, and they make a little bit of contact, a little bit of a nudge. Nobody's put out, nobody goes around. But Dyson and Conklin, as we spoke about at the top of the show here, Sky, are the 2 road warriors to watch. And this is a serious battle, and I'm not sure how much longer this can go when it comes to Andrew Dyson trying to hang on to this one.
Conklin really trying to push it here in the early stages of this race, and the caution is going to fly here. Is this our random caution? Looks like it might be. So a caution called here on lap 6 tonight at Sonoma. And that'll put a brief pause on that battle between Dyson and Conklin. I'm sure it is going to resume pretty much immediately after we take the restart here.
We're hearing in our ear there's some damage on the 1 car. We have a look here. Entering into the hairpin, we're through the S's.
I don't think that was anything related to any sort of caution bringing out accident. I think that was just, we have hit the lap 6 random caution. You can have up to 2 random cautions here. Up to 3, I have been told, random cautions in the full-length Cup Challenge. And that will be one of them here at Sonoma, in addition to our stage breaks. I'm blaming last week's commentator, Howie Burrows, for giving me incorrect information.
Yeah, it could also depend on the series that's being run. We are also being told. So this group had 3 random cautions at San Diego. Road course that we just came from. The road course that Sean Conklin took the 17 to the top step of. 75 lapper is going to be bringing us this duel here. Early indications here, Sky. Dyson and Conklin want track position immediately. Obviously, on a road course, track position extremely important. So much harder to overtake. Takes a lot longer as well to overtake at a road course versus your standard oval. And Dyson obviously with the track position here, but the trick is, can Conklin get to the back of the 41, or on this restart is somebody else, is a Pearson, a Delaney, a Basin, a Hill going to be potentially cycling that 17 backward? An interesting restart here.
I wonder if anyone who's maybe like really deep in the field and maybe looking to get off strategy plays tires here. Not saying it's going to happen. Don't think it will happen, but I mean, maybe if you're running, 30th, 35th, and you just want to try something different because clearly you don't have it on track position or maybe even pace right now, might be worth it to get a little off strategy. We'll see if anyone opts to do that. I got a couple cars faking like they're going to do it, but no one actually biting on that pit road entry there down into the hairpin. And it looks like, yeah, we're going to have a couple cars at the back who want to get a little bit off strategy and are going to make that turn down into the pit lane. Looks like Robert Miller was running back in 16th. He will make that move down along with the 8 of Blake Giglio. I think we're going to have maybe 1 or 2 others here as well. Evan Mesnard in the 73. We saw him get in an accident earlier. He will also bring that car down. So 3 cars running outside the top 15. We're going to make pit stops here on lap 7 and get off strategy early on in this one.
Yeah, so Giglio, we didn't see have too much of an incident-filled start. Didn't really see too many fireworks from them. However, the 15 and the 73 were involved in a couple of scuffles. 15 in particular got shuffled quite far back, and as you said, kind of potentially, maybe not on pace, but just in terms of where they were starting, out of position and looking to try and claw something back, try to get back where they want to be. And we continue to make our way through here for this caution period. We'll go ahead and take a quick break here real quick. We'll be back with more here of the full-length Cup Challenge.
Racing isn't easy, but experiencing it is. iRacing puts you in the driver's seat with the industry's leading sim racing game. Drive on laser scan replicas of the greatest racing circuits from around the world. Go head-to-head against other drivers chosen by skill-based matchmaking to ensure competitive racing at every level. Compete across all your favorite series. In officially licensed cars, engineered to deliver the most accurate driving experience possible. Join a race or host your own with players from across the globe. Race against the computer or in a league with friends. Feel the thrill behind the wheel. Visit iRacing.com.
When you want to be the best, you can't settle for the rest. For anything on iRacing, there's just one name you need, Maconi.
With the launch of Maconi Entertainment and Maconi Competizone alongside Maconi Setup Shop, we now provide the best of the best in setups, paint schemes, coaching, broadcasting, and event organization.
With cars across all 4 license classes, we have what you need to hit the track with confidence. Grab a subscription and save money while going fast at MaconiSetupShop.com/subscriptions.
And remember, at Maconi Setup Shop, there are setups, but your victories.
Welcome back to the full-length Cup Challenge here. NASCAR Cup here at Sonoma. We are currently under caution. The first of potentially 3 random cautions. And it could not have come at a better time for Andrew Dyson, who had Sean Conklin, the 17, all over the back of them. The two got away 2.5 seconds in the lead where the caution nullified it. Here we are racing to 25 for the stage 1 caution. Stage 2 will be lap 55. On our way to 110. 5 tire sets. We saw 3 or so drivers coming in, eventually trying to get that very, very long undercut there. James Newton here in the booth alongside Sky Shrek. Sky, we're going to be having a look at who's going to get a good jump off of this one. And it looked like Dyson got a good launch last time. Are you seeing anybody that you've got your eye on when it comes to this restart?
I think we're going to see Dyson and Conklin get straight out on the jump right again, like they did on the course of that last restart. I mean, they pulled out about a couple seconds there to Neil Pearson just within the first few laps. I would not be surprised if we see those top 2 cars immediately open a little bit of a gap once again here. I'm going to be taking a look a little bit deeper in the field. You have our biggest mover tonight, Nicholas Vroman, started in 38th, has that car in 24th right now. We'll see if he's able to get anything back.
He is almost halfway there in that remarkably pearlescent, I would almost say chrome, pink machine, magenta machine. I have to look at a couple hex codes there to see what that one's going to be called here as we bring it through 11. Wide line, still warming the tires for the 41. Dyson wants those fronts nice and toasty. And we are back green in Sonoma.
And Conklin is going to immediately send one up the inside of Dyson here, and he's going to go all the way off the road and miss the corner completely. Sean Conklin whiffs turn 1, and he is going to have to slow that car all the way down to avoid any sort of iRacing time penalty there. Gives up P2 to Neil Pearson, and he might have to give us some more. Oh, we got a car big time in the wall back there. We're wrecking hard towards the back of the field. That's the 19 car. We're still going around. The 01's around. We're 5 wide down here in turn 7. This might not end well for everybody, but it looks like they're going to get it sorted out. That was a very close call for a lot of drivers there. It was Ralph Hutchison who started it, got spun around there off of some contact with the 71 of Hunter Truell behind. 57 got caught up in that Cameron Stone. He came across the track, and then you saw Casey Graves kind of get caught up in the ensuing checkup, and that spun that 01 around. Then more cars just pile in back there.
We had a car further forward as well, getting collected by the 98 with others, and actually had 2 cars into the side of them at the same time. So the front axle and rear axle shared some pain there. Here at Dillon Basin. Have a look at the back of Jonathan Delaney.
Sean Conklin's passed Neil Pearson, by the way, for P2. He's got that spot back already.
Yeah, and also fantastic car control. Obviously, issues at the start trying to get it around this really tricky sweeping uphill turn 1 and trying to get that worked out. Conklin, as you said, got Pearson, but to keep it in a straight line-ish and to not come back on the track with too much speed and basically just shooting back up into the entire rest of the field. Excellent car control. Lost a spot. Got it back, deploying that speed we saw earlier on. And it almost looks like we didn't have any kind of issues from the 17. Speaking of issues, though, the 48, it looks like, is around the beginning of the S's. That's not a spot you want to go off.
No, it isn't. And this is just going to be a self-spin here. He's going to loop it all on his own. Maybe taking a little bit of pressure there from Nicholas Vroman behind, who's already got that car in 19th. But Hunter just around on his lonesome down there, entering turn 8. And you'll see that right here.
On the left-hand kink. Just up a gear and bites him. My goodness. Back up at the front here. Andrew Dyson, I was going to say 1.5 seconds. It's not quite that, and I think it may be dropping. Speaking of dropping, like the number 10 or 24, number 24, apologies there. Going to have a look on the side of that machine. Still down the inside. Something's wrong with that. I can't tell if it's grabbing or not. We are well off the pace there. Like Chad Sanner.
Yeah, oh, he had a, he slid off road there through turn 1. He didn't hit anything, but he did slide off road, had to slow that car down to 30 miles an hour, and with a lot of this track just kind of being straightaway-ish from that point on into turn 5, he just wasn't able to recover the speed he would have needed in order to actually get back into that fight, and lost a ton of positions as a result. It's a little bit deeper in the field here. We're watching William Owens in the 30. Blake Giglio in the 8 is going to make that move up the inside here. This is for P27 on the field. And Blake Giglio will get that comfortably. P28 he will take, excuse me, as there was just a pass for P27. A little bit earlier with Nicholas Isaacs in the 2. One spot in front of this battle, getting that position away. Here's a battle going into turn 1. Tanner Marty, Stephen Williams are door-to-door for that one as we head up the hill, and Stephen Williams is going to almost miss the corner. There go off-roading. Marty holds P23.
Exciting battles up and down the field. Having a look here at the battle for 6. This is Hill, Hoytsma, and Matthew David Wood. Covered by about a second. We put a blanket over all 3. They come through, and this is actually kind of turning into a 5-car snake. Hodgson bringing up the rear at the moment of these 5. On board here with coffee, I believe. Oh yes, lovely handy dandy little sign at the bottom right there, letting me know which driver we are on board with. Looking at the outskirts of the top 10. 54 there, losing again a couple of spots, not going the direction that they would want, but still running quite strongly. Gap at the front is closing in a little bit. I'll tell you what, though, the gap for 8th position, about to not be able to fit a car in there. Matthew David Wood under fire. And again, it's so tricky on road courses, right, Sky? You've got these moments where you can make a move, and if you don't get the move right, not only do you maybe mess up getting the spot you wanted, you lose so much ground. You have to drag yourself out of these corners, especially in one of these areas like the S's, right? You've got so much time that can be lost by not quite getting this right, let alone having some kind of accident. So it really can be kind of high stakes here at a track like Sonoma.
Oh, here's Paul Hill. He's going to take a dive a little bit here into turn 11. Not quite able to get it there. He might actually have something, as Delaney is a little bit loose out of the hairpin there up through 12. But he'll hold on to that spot for P5. Paul Hill is right on the bumper and pushing there, trying to get into those top 5 positions where he started tonight, up in P5 on the racetrack. A little bit more to the inside there in comparison to Delaney. Not quite able to get that spot yet, but he is going to continue to push and continue to apply pressure. And maybe if Delaney gets a little bit loose again, like he did on the exit of the hairpin, Paul Hill will be able to pounce and take that spot over. There's a little bit of a gap here between Hill and Hoytsma, only about half a second, but That translates to a good couple car lengths here at Sonoma. You've got Matthew David Wood, Nolan Hodgson all in this as well. 5th through 9th are really under a blanket within about 2 seconds of each other here. And now as we head back down through the S's, back towards that hairpin, this could be another opportunity for Paul Hill to make that move down to the inside. We'll see if he's able to send it here. He certainly looks faster. Not the greatest of runs out of turn 10 there. It might hurt his ability to get it here. He will. He'll stay in line. Big send behind him, though, from Lucas Hoytsma. He'll get right up to that bumper, and he will join this fight for P5.
97 looks really confident on the brakes. Very, very quick. And we saw last time around there, Delaney trying to get up into turn 1, and we saw 26 put a nose almost up the inside of 2, which is something that I've not personally seen too often there. Obviously not the heaviest of braking zones. Is popping wheel into the air. Just saying what's up there from Jonathan Delaney. Number 6 still hanging tough. They need to be. Oh, it looks like the 98, I believe.
Roman up to P16 back here after starting this race all the way back in last place. So he has a lot of speed there in that car. As Sean Conklin is starting to close in on Andrew Dyson up there in that battle for the lead. If you remember, that gap was about 1.3, 1.4 seconds after Conklin just completely missed turn 1 on the restart. He's got that gap down to 0.7 of a second now, cut almost in half, and you can see right there he's been the faster car for the last 3. We'll take it at the line this time and see who ends up faster on that lap. Looks like it was Conklin again, just by a little bit. So he is slowly starting to close that gap to Andrew Dyson and once again make this a battle for the lead. We'll see if he's able to get there before the stage break, but he is certainly pushing for it at the moment.
Yeah, Conklin on the way, but still has a ways to go there. And obviously Andrew Dyson has some serious pace. So again, on that last lap there, about 0.5 in it. And this is going to get closer and closer as it goes on with the way this, and you can see curb hopping there, the 41 trying to look for the shortest route through these S's, which according to the 41 is straight through. Pick up again the 97. On board here with Hoytsma. Back of Hill and Delaney. It's so quick through here, these cars can really shift. And again, we're going to have that pit wall just to our left. Actually, we're not going to have that one to our left. Potentially the 26 to our left. A little bit of contact, it looked like. Paul Hill able to withstand the pressure and trying to stay on offense and not worry too much about defense. And the 97 trying to do just the opposite.
And Hoytsma definitely trying to close that gap up here. I don't think we're going to see anyone get too risky here for a position, do anything too out of the ordinary, because as we've mentioned, that stage break is coming up on lap number 25, and that will throw a wrench into things here for a lot of these drivers. It'll probably be a chance for them to pit, to get tires, to do a little bit of a reset, and it'll really bunch up the field. So even if you do something really risky, really crazy, make a pass here over the last 7 laps before we get to that stage break, that car who you made that crazy pass on is going to be right up next to you on the restart, and they might well pass you on the restart. So you don't really need to push it too hard here if you are one of those cars like Hill and Hoytsma. If maybe Delaney in front of you makes a mistake, by all means, pounce, take that spot away. But there's no real reason to start moving cars out of the way for that spot with the stage break coming up soon. Paul Hill, though, continuing to take some peeks to the inside as we look a little further back. We're side by side entering the S's with Evan Mesnard back here in the 73 car, going at it with Ralph Hutchison in the 19. This is for P28 on the racetrack, and it looks like Hutchison is going to body his way through. That'll open the door for Stephen Williams in the 98 to challenge Mesnard, but he will have to back out. Casey Graves in the 01 is that blue car right behind this battle, and then you've got Chad Sanner in the 24 back there as well.
Sander not having the race that they would like. I'm seeing an interesting line here off of 11. All these drivers, some taking it all the way to the outside wall, some staying, basically huddling almost to the apex and almost scraping the right side of the car around the corner and refuse to leave that wall until they get to that final left kink across the line. Interesting lines, interesting learnings. These drivers get to give each other a couple jabs at the start of this fight. We have somebody down pit road there.
There's Jason Taylor in the 60 who's coming in. He was running 37, so he was running last on track right now, and he's going to bring that car down. Hoytsma missed the corner down there through the hairpin, and that is going to maybe open the door up for Matthew David Wood. He certainly lost some time to Paul Hill as a result of that. Slipped back by about 7 tenths of a second, and now Wood in that 16 car is going to be really close to that back bumper of Hoytsma. He's got to lock it down, make sure he doesn't make another mistake, or else that 16 car could pounce. One of the bigger movers up here in the top 10 has gone from 11th to 8th. He's the only car currently running in the top 10. Or actually, he's up there with Dylan Basin, who's now running in 3rd, got around Neil Pearson in moving up 3 spots in your top 10. Biggest mover of the race, still Nicholas Roman, who's gone plus 22.
Roman really getting after it. See Bobby Anderson as well there in the top 20. We started right near the back as we pick up the 5. A little bit of a wider moment than they would probably like there through the chute. See the brake discs glowing. Good opportunity to cool those off a bit. There's not really anywhere you can really settle here when it comes to Sonoma. Up and over the hills, through the kinks. Elevation change dramatic as well. MDW doesn't really have a response to Hoytsma, who's now potentially going to be the antagonist in what was a 2-car battle.
Paul Hill is not having a great time in that 26 car. That is for sure, because Jonathan Delaney is right up on the back bumper of that car, and it's about a 1.5 second gap separating Pearson and Hill at the moment. Hill's done a good job to just kind of lock that in, to hold his spot right up here at the front of the field, but I'm sure he would like to get maybe a little more here over the next few laps. He had finally gotten around Delaney there. I'm sure he really wants to hold on to that spot after making that move on Delaney.
Definitely doing a great job. And really kind of causing some jeopardy here. So we have only a handful of laps to go for the stage break at lap 25. We're having a look here at what was almost a full second across the stripe there. Speaking of finding something new there, Andrew Dyson has got a little bit there for the 17. And Conklin gonna need to scratch their head here after this chess match maneuver here from Dyson. Who currently gives the stiff arm to the 17, does the 41. Pick back up here with this. Again, every lap, Sky, it seems like there's a different duo that have gotten a little too close for comfort. And right now it is 97 Hoytsma getting more and more interested, getting around Jonathan Delaney in the 6, and there may be a good opportunity here. Looks like they kind of spread out through the S's there. It doesn't seem like following, apart from Conklin, I haven't seen anybody really following right on the bumper through the S's. Drivers having to kind of pull back.
You've got to give it a little space there, or else it can be very easy for you to go around. We're going to see some pit stops before we hit the stage break. Lucas Hoytsma, Jonathan Delaney just hit the wall there coming into the pits, just banged it off of that outside pit wall. That could give some serious damage to the left front of that 6 car if he's not careful. Yeah, you can see that the front left of the car is bent in there on that 6 after hitting the pit wall. That's a major problem for the 6 of Delaney. Hoytsma came in with him at a much cleaner pit entry. Won't have to deal with that. Get a replay on that 6 hitting the pit wall as he makes his way down into the box and coming in a little too quick. There you go. That's a pretty tough hit there. Launched the right rear into the air.
It looked almost like a hatchback at full lock there. That was not the plan there. I believe it was Ross Chastain using the wall. if I'm not mistaken, getting a win
Don't-
around the outside there, but that's
Can't
not
say you
going to
wanna
be
do
the
that
way
at
to win here
Sonoma.
tonight. Yeah,
Come down
not
to
at Sonoma.
2 to go in the stage here once Dyson takes the line next time. Stage 1 going really quick here as Dyson and Conklin have been doing battle for much of this. Conklin has fallen back. He had that gap down to about 7/10 of a second, now back up to 1.5 seconds. Pit road has closed, so no one else will get to go in other than those 2 cars, and Delaney and Hoytsma that we saw come down right on that last lap. Dyson and Conklin and everybody else will stay out, and they'll come down at the stage break, which will likely promote Hoytsma and Delaney up into the lead of the race once all these cars come down and it cycles back around.
Hoytsma may still be yet to get around. See here now, almost some lap traffic here. Jose Medina able to slide out of the way there. Trying not to hold up the leader. Nothing's really holding up the leader at the moment. Dyson comes through down into the hairpin. 1.6 seconds. It looks like Conklin obviously has had some serious pain. Goes very deep as well for good measure. Seems to be losing touch with Dyson at this stage. Obviously still, about 6 seconds ahead of Basin. So both of your top 2 have shown what kind of pace they have on this road course. We come to 1 to go. We're seeing this scrap here for 10th Sky.
Yeah, Joseph Gullotta in the 99 car is the one who has that spot right now, racing with Alan Duggar. Adam Benefield in that battle. Duggar was a little bit further up the field. He has slowly slipped back after being up inside the top 10 here for part of tonight. Pruell in the 71 now holds that 9th position in the 71 car. As I said, Joseph Gullotta in the 99 back there as well with Duggar and Benefield, and there's a big gap back behind him to Nicholas Vroman in 13th, who has continued his charge through the field and is about 6 seconds behind this battle. We'll see if anyone makes a mistake, particularly Hunter Truell, and that allows Joseph Gullotta to pounce as they make their way down towards the hairpin here in just a moment. Your race leader, Andrew Dyson, is about to come around. He will win stage 1 here tonight in just a moment. Conklin will come across to take 2nd in stage 1, and then Dylan Basin will be P3 across the line.
Well, they're making their way across the line here, and then this battle for 10th position right on the outskirts of the stage. No changes at the moment as they come through. Just finishing off, and now there is the caution. And we have stage results here for you. Andrew Dyson leading Sean Conklin. 2.5 seconds in the end for the 25 lap stage there. Dylan Basin in 3rd. RFK looking quite strong, lurking behind the 41. Neil Pearson and Paul Hill duking it out. Matthew David Wood, Nolan Hodgson 6th and 7th. 8th is Alex Coffey. Very strong starting position, falling back just a little bit. Still in your top 10 along with Hunter Truell and Joseph Gullotta, your top 10.
And then those will be your drivers taking stage points tonight. It was Alan Duggar, Adam Benefield, and Nicholas Vroman, the first 3 who were in that battle, but who could not get themselves up into a stage point scoring position. As Dyson and Conklin have been the class of the field so far, but Dyson started on pole, has led every lap so far.
It's really looked quite cool. You know, let's have a chat with our stage 1 winner here. Andrew, it's James and Sky in the booth. Got a copy?
Good evening, James and Sky. I have a copy.
Well, that was a close call. It looked like at the beginning, and then it looked like you found an extra gear there late in the stage. How is it looking out there for you?
It feels pretty good, man. I think the track's hot, pretty slick, pretty slippery, more slippery than what I was practicing in and stuff like that. But same for everyone, so we just got to do the best we can.
In terms of those drivers that pit early on, are you worried about anybody else that isn't named Conklin when it comes to the overall pace at the beginning of this one?
Oh, certainly, man. I mean, there's lots of guys who I didn't actually see who flipped, by the way. I'm not too sure on that. But if there was a few guys that did it, and they're fast enough, then they'll be hard to get around. But the main thing here is it'll mix up the order when we restart more than anything. So that'll be the main thing that's going to affect my race more than anything. But you know, it's just a matter of trying to get the best restart I can and shake out in a good spot to try to get to the front again.
How does Sonoma feel in one of these Cup cars?
It's pretty wild, man. I mean, for the most part, it's really gripped up, and then it can get away from you really quickly. I think with this car, basically at every track, whether it's oval or road, I feel like you've got to keep it completely underneath you. And if at any time it's sort of getting away from you, it's sort of game over, or you're just going to lose a lot of time. So that's the hardest thing at this track. It's just trying to keep it completely underneath you, and all the bumps and curves and crests and dips and compression points, that all makes it really tough.
Well, congratulations on the stage. Thanks for joining us, and good luck the rest of the way.
No worries. Thanks, guys. Yes, sir.
Dyson there joining us in the booth as they accelerate up into the pit lane speed limit, it almost seemed like.
You got to make sure you don't hit that outside wall there like Delaney did. You got to take it a little carefully down into the pits. I think we're seeing 2 lap cars stay out and get the wave around here. I think we're also going to see Delaney likely stay out. It's going to be Delaney and Hoytsma, the 2 cars who pit right before that caution. We're going to keep that car out, and who are going to assume both the lead and second place of this race respectively, giving Dyson and Conklin a little bit of work to do as Dyson and Conklin win the race off pit road, followed there by Basin and Neil Pearson and Paul Hill in that order.
And the top 2 are going to be in, well, the top 2 for the stage are going to be in a bit of traffic in a way that they were not really tested with earlier on. Decent restarts, or starts and restarts for both. We'll have to see how they are able to get going as we will be coming around. Get this thing back underway here. Next stage at 55 laps. A little bit longer than this one. All the way to 110. Like I said, it was very hot out there, Sky. Seeing a couple of tails wagging out of the exit of the hairpin. We saw a couple of moments trying to get into the... Yeah, look at that, 113 degrees on track. No thank you. And not too much wind there coming from basically kind of perpendicular to the track. Or apologies, yeah, basically vertically across the track. So it won't really be helping you in or out of the S's. But it's a toasty one.
Yeah, it's been very hot on the track all race long, and you have seen a couple cars maybe get that back end to step out on them through the hairpin, through some of these S's sections. I mean, these are all very good drivers here in the full-length Cup Challenge, but even these drivers have got to be careful not to send the car around, as we have seen a couple different drivers do over the course of this evening. Forty car Jose Medina.
The wave around there.
The wave around, yeah.
Mm-hmm.
So nice we said it twice.
Well, really important, obviously. Car overtakes the pace car, which has their lights out. 911 up at the front of the field. And of course, 40 will need to get a hustle on. Try to get around to the back. Even though we do have a 40 car grid. can see them all snake through. They just, they almost seem like they don't stop. They drape themselves through 3A and 3. I'll go ahead and say this here, Sky, that I am not a big fan of the corner numbers here at Sonoma. Obviously, the track is a fantastic venue. Been coming here since the 60s, of course. But we've got, yeah, so particularly, 3 and then 3A as opposed to 3A and B, which kind of makes more sense to my brain, which I've been told is a different kind of brain. Went through 4, then we come through into 7. 7A. Yeah, see, even I, yeah. It's corner numbers with letters in it, and it's all kinds of funky.
We are going to get ready to go here in just a moment at Sonoma. Up front, it will be Jonathan Delaney and Lucas Hoytsma after opting to come down with 2 laps left in that stage right before the pit lane closed. They will stay out on the caution, and they will cycle up from the middle of the top 10 where they were running to the front of the field tonight, and that'll give Andrew Dyson, who has led every single green flag lap for the first 25 of them here, some cars to pass as he sits in 3rd. It'll be Sean Conklin, who's been giving him a challenge all race long, going from 4th. Dylan Basin, Neil Pearson, Paul Hill, Matthew David Wood, Nolan Hodgson, and Alex Coffey, the remainder of your top 10. As we get ready to go, the pace car will pull in, and we are just moments away from getting back underway here at Sonoma. 6 car going to go very wide so he can try to maximize maybe his run out there. Oh, no, he's just going to stop again. I thought he was going to maybe jump a little early. He'll go in the restart zone in that 6 car for Jonathan Delaney. And as we make our way through turn 12, he will finally get that jump, and we will go back green at Sonoma. Delaney holding that lead pretty steady right now. Dyson going at it in P2. You've got Hoytsma, P3, Conklin, P4. Hoytsma's already lost that spot there with Dyson getting a hot jump on the restart to get right in behind Delaney. The tires are fresher, but they're not much fresher, only by about 3 laps here, and we'll see if that's able to make a difference for Dyson, for Delaney, over the rest of the field at the moment, as these 3 are all under a blanket. They're really tight down. A little bit of contact between Dyson and Hoytsma right there as they make their way through turn 6. But everybody holds on to it, and Dyson is still in hot pursuit. Let's see if he makes a move here down through the hairpin, because that seems like it would be the best spot for Andrew Dyson if he wants to get this move done with any sort of speed here and get back to the lead. He's going to get right into the back bumper as we see the 99 off track. Dyson will pull that move up to the inside here, and Conklin to the outside as it's Lucas Hoytsma all the way up, and he's going to spin Dyson around through the corner, and that is going to be major damage for Dyson. He's going to lose all kinds of time, all kinds of positions. Delaney and Conklin are clear 1-2, but Andrew Dyson will slip all the way back to P9 by the time we make our way up into turn 1 after just getting turned around there by an over-aggressive Lucas Hoytsma. We'll get a replay of that for you.
Wow, wow, wow.
Whoa, Delaney just missed the corner. Delaney's lost the lead. Sorry, back under green. Delaney's lost the lead. We'll show you the 41 getting turned around by the 97 there. Lucas Hoytsma is now up here in P2 as it's Dylan Basin 3rd, and Sean Conklin has pulled out 2.5 seconds up in front of this field. Here's what happened to Delaney here. Oh, yeah, he's getting some contact. Sean Conklin moves him.
Well, well. And gets split again. Left and right pockets get picked. Obviously, bad run off the corner due to getting scooted. And we have here as well the 71, Hunter Truel, falling back as well. Joseph Galata was going off, and now here we are, 06. Trying to have a look on the inside, gets it done, and we have somebody else here trying to stay out of pit road. Harper, we're hearing, had an issue here coming through toward turn 10. Hardy's machine. Oh, and the 65 just up the road, able to make the corner, but the way they were able to make the corner is by a bit of a lean on the 23. That is quite a tricky moment there. To say the least. And there's 54. That's Alex Coffey. Well, I was going to say outside the top 10, outside the top 20, 28.
Running in 9th when he had that spin. See what happened though, he just lost it all on his own going down the hill, caught a little bit of the grass, spun that car around.
He doesn't really catch it in the apex. Oh, just a little bit, just half a tire. Well, I guess both left side tires. But still, just half the contact patch. Obviously the loaded up tires on the exit of that right-hander over the hill. And unsighted as well, as it continues to dive. Rises up and over, and then it dives back down. That's the 11th race there for Sean Conklin, out in the lead 4 seconds. 17 is hauling the mail at the moment. Dylan Basin, RFK teammate to Sean Conklin in the 06. Trying to stretch a bit of a gap to Hoytsma. Has that kind of crunched up front fascia. And look who it is, Matthew David Wood, MPW, up in 4th after all of this mayhem. And 16 picking up the pieces there. We saw a glimpse of Stephen Williams.
That's Stephen Williams, yeah. He's gonna have to tow that car. I'm hearing his car is killed. Let's see what happens to kill said car. Oh, you have left front's already messed up. So there's already damage on that car. Misses the corner potentially. Oh, he's gonna get hip checked from behind here. Yeah. No, maybe. Oh.
Pit lane.
Oh.
The infamous pit lane entry. Wow. Oh, we have somebody else there as well.
Man, this second stage has had a lot more problems than the first stage.
This is getting more difficult as it goes on, it seems. Drivers trying to work their way. I was going to say trying to work their way up the field, trying to sit where they are.
It's a hole in the nose for Hoytsma there after that contact earlier on. As we are, well, Dyson's going to make a move here for P6, by the way, as we're watching this occur. Dyson locks it up a little bit there to the corner. He's able to take that spot away from Neil Pearson right there in that 62 car as we go down through the S's, going back to live right here. And Dyson has made that move all the way back up to P6. If you remember, he was back in P9 for a brief moment as a result of that contact he had with Hoytsma that turned him around. He's clearly got some speed. He led the entire first stage after starting on pole in that 41 car and is rapidly moving his way back up through the field in P6 as we're side by side for P3 up there. It was Matthew David Wood who stuck a nose in on Lucas Hoytsma, but was unable to hold the spot as Hoytsma had the advantage of that inside lane when the track bent back in his favor in turn 12. A lot of damage, though, on that 97, and you got to think that with the amount of damage that car has, the 16 of Matthew David Wood will very much have the advantage when it comes to getting that spot on the podium.
BW looking quite good at the moment, but still has not gotten the job done. And again, with the road course, not every corner is, I was going to say, not every corner is an opportunity to pass, but Matthew David Wood does not care what I think. The 16 trying to go down the inside of 7A. And nothing doing. Obviously, Hoytsma able just to hang around the outside. Able to kind of parry that thrust away. And now this is a decent run here. 16 looking like they were gaining a good amount through 10. Way too far back to think about it, but just trying to tuck in. Let's see what kind of line they get off the corner. Hoytsma a little bit deep. Wood right on the apex. Seeing Delaney on the way as well. This is, again, it just obviously with the way this track works, it ebbs and flows in a way where you just got to get a sequence of corners right. You got to be in the rhythm. If you get off of the rhythm, you lose so much time. There's not really much to do about it other than just kind of calm down, get back into the rhythm, and join the rest of the pack here.
As you're watching some battles really all throughout the field, here's that 26 car of Paul Hill getting close with the 62 of Neil Pearson there for P6 as Delaney almost got in the back of Matthew David Wood for P4. That gap's rapidly closing as well. So a lot of great racing up here in your top 8 cars. Sean Conklin has pulled away. Dylan Basin opened up a little bit of a gap as well. But everyone behind him has been going to war here throughout pretty much all of stage 2 as we sit on lap 36 out of 155 is the stage break here. As here's a move for Andrew Dyson up the inside of Delaney, and he is going to take that spot easily. And now Lucas Hoytsma is not only going to have to defend from the hard-charging Matthew David Wood back there in the 16, but the hard-charging Andrew Dyson, who wants his lead back after being spun out by none other than Lucas Hoytsma through the hairpin. This is going to be exciting.
We'll have to see how they approach that there. Wood all over the curb. Didn't seem to help too much. Unsettling of the front end. And speaking of unsettling, that's the whole right side. 41. My goodness me, that was not almost over, but I wouldn't do that 6 times in a row there, Sky. That was a hefty amount of curb, and the 41 up on 2 wheels.
Yeah, that was a very risky maneuver there for that car. He's just really doing anything he can right now to get his spot back. Doesn't really care how hard he has to push it. Doesn't care how hard he wears those tires, wears the car. He just wants to get himself that track position to be able to get himself back up to the front of the field where he was for so much of the early portion of this race. Not going to have it here as David Wood continues to take peaks low on Hoytsma. But for the last, I would say, 5 laps that he's been stuck right behind that car, he's been unable to actually make the move, to make the pass, and he continues to sit in 4th at the moment, with Dyson rapidly starting to beat down the back door of that car for P4. Wood now not only has to worry about that car in front of him, but the car behind him as well, and you really can't count out Jonathan Delaney either, because he stayed pretty steady back here for P6, as look at that, Dyson once again getting all the way off the curb into the grass there a little bit through that corner.
Dyson started up on the front row and is now trying to get back there, but they've got to go through Matthew David Wood and all kinds of smoke. Both drivers having almost the same moment. 41 able to get theirs corrected sooner, and MDW is going to lose 2 spots because of that. Attacked by the 41, loses the spot after both of them have a snap. And Delaney says, thank you very much, up into P5. As Matthew David Wood, again, about to lose another spot here. Very deep into the hairpin. And that's 2, 3, 4.
He's going
Nolan
from 4th back
Hodgson,
to
the last
9th in
car
1 lap.
coming through.
Yeah. Oh, he's in the wall again there. He's got to lock this car down there. Back into the wall from Matthew David Wood. Yeah, that car is rattled right now, and he really needs to calm that thing down, or else he is going to be in some major trouble. Already fallen from 4th to 9th in the span of about half a lap there for that 16 after beating on the door of a podium for many of the laps prior. Dyson still has a little ways to go, about a second before he can catch up to Hoytsma, but everybody is right in a line behind him. From Hoytsma back to Wood, and then it's 3 seconds back to entering the top 10, that bright pink car of Nicholas Vroman, who has continued to move up from 38th to 10th. If he can get up there at the front, to the front by the end of this race, he is going to be a real contender. Maybe not for the win. I don't know if he's got that kind of speed in the 95 car, but certainly for a podium tonight if he can keep that thing moving.
I can't even count the number of series on my hands, how many series you cannot even make up 28 spots in, and Roman is hunting for more. Kind of greedy if you ask me. So we pick up the previous leader. And now we have a look here again. Delaney under attack. They head through the sweeping turn 1 here. Just kind of a scary corner, honestly. Undulating. Not quite the camber all the way through the way that you want. And these cars are a handful at the best of times on the flattest of tracks. this is anything but. We saw the curbs are looming as well. And Delaney's got their handful with the car. Hoytsma's got their handful with this driver here. See again, the front end, all the drivers who are having success when it comes to lap time, when it comes to making some good moves, or at least a lot of moves, it seems like the front end of the car turns in so much earlier. And obviously there's no over-rotation. And the drivers just seem to be on that balance in a way the others, and look at this here, the 41 with the almost up into the door.
Ooh, Hoytsma loose.
And a wiggle off the corner here. Sky, this is getting really close.
Yeah, Dyson's going to be forced up there on the outside, and he's going to back out here for now. Doesn't want Hoytsma to maybe get into him again. I would not be surprised if he's being a little more cautious, knowing, well, Hoytsma's already spun him out once. Oh, he's going to spin Hoytsma out. The 41 of Dyson turns around the 97 and wipes himself out in the process. And all of that track position he had gone to obtain is gone, as the caution will fly here on lap 41.
Wow. It tried to be a gentleman. I think that, again, obviously we had the issue here is we're going to see them come through one. Again, terrifying. Try to go too wide through there. As we see the 41 again, high for the 41 and kind of into the back, and then tries to stop, tries to go right around, and has to go straight off the track, committing to trying to go down the inside after that issue. And again, obviously, issue for the 41, but they're now together on track again, albeit 8 and 9. And in reverse position, I might add.
That is not what you wanted to see there at all for that, but for those two cars, especially when Dyson has had so much speed all race long. He's been consistently up at the front. We want to see him race for the lead because it has been extremely fun to watch him go at it. And I think it is worth noting that caution was in fact one of our 3 randomly timed cautions this race, and well, that random timing will be absolutely perfect for Lucas Hoytsma.
That worked out a treat, didn't it? That
Yes,
was
it did.
right at the exact moment. I don't know if you can call something random if it's a serious coincidence like that, but obviously that is the way that it works. As we see.
Whoa! Did Hoytsma just get into the back of him again there? That was very close. Oh, he
It
didn't
looked very
quite.
close.
Dyson was able to get out of the way after he... Dyson got into the back of wood is what happened, and then had to swerve out of the way.
EW coming through 4. And all this kind of Constantine is up there. BW, on the brakes, and 41 takes evasive action after the contact has been made. Obviously, you want to keep the wheel as straight as possible. Try to get the most braking possible. But coming to a complete stop is so much harder than trying to scrub some speed from 140, 50, 60 miles an hour down to about 30 or so. You see, that was a random yellow, not for a collision. Sure to specify there. As we see here, Conklin and Basin out at the front. Teammates in the best possible positions there, as we have...
Dyson on pit road. Hoytsma too.
Is that the 15? Is that
Looks
the...
like a lot of the cars at the back of the field coming in. Yeah, it's Robert Miller coming down there in the 15. Looks like we're going to have Corey Moore, Blake Kluot, Ralph Hutchison. A lot of cars towards the back of the field making their pit stop now.
Omacheski getting their lap back. As we see the pit cycle coming on through there. And of course, we're going to have one of the shortest runs here to the line when it comes to stage. We're coming up to about 10 to go. And of course, all that hard work, Conklin, Basin, and others effectively nullified. Saw the top 2 of Dyson and Conklin battling it out way at the front, shredding up those tires, using all the maneuvers that they could possibly muster. And that will, although it is noted, obviously, very, very impressive, it now, as far as track position is concerned, means nothing. So they will have to try and do it all again. And I have no doubt that Conklin, as long as the restart's good, Conklin seems to be the fastest car, even with Dyson up ahead. Conklin was able to stay with Dyson, but not able to pass. And we saw at the end of the stage there's a bit of a gap, but I think that might have just been Conklin trying to, you know, if I push it 110%, I might be wrecking. You know, if I go any faster, I may not be able to hang on to this thing. So it may have just been kind of a, this is your stage, and I'll see you later on.
Yeah, we'll see if Dyson is able to make that move back up to the inside or back up anywhere, or if he is going to be stuck back there running deeper in the field. Obviously, he made that pit stop, so he's going to try to get off cycle here and get back to the lead, probably at the stage break between stage 2 and 3. But if he does that, he will have the older tires. So we'll see if it works out for him. We'll see how the strategy ends up playing out long term, but he's on it right now, and he's going to have to stick with it for at least the next little while, as he will go from, now let's figure this out here. He is going to go from deep in the field on this restart, P14. No, actually, it's further back than that. iRacing is lying to me. He is actually, if I can find where he is, 28th in the field.
Obviously on the freshest tires for this restart, so as long as they can make it through, it's going to be exciting here. We'll go ahead and take a quick break here, and we'll be back with more FLCC action here on Maconi Entertainment. Stick with us. We'll be right back.
Racing isn't easy, but experiencing it is. iRacing puts you in the driver's seat with the industry's leading sim racing game. Drive on laser scan replicas of the greatest racing circuits from around the world. Go head-to-head against other drivers chosen by skill-based matchmaking to ensure competitive racing at every level. Compete across all your favorite series. In officially licensed cars, engineered to deliver the most accurate driving experience possible. Join a race or host your own with players from across the globe. Race against the computer or in a league with friends. Feel the thrill behind the wheel. Visit iRacing.com.
When you want to be the best, you can't settle for the rest. For anything on iRacing, there's just one name you need, Maconi.
With the launch of Maconi Entertainment and Maconi Competizone alongside Maconi Setup Shop, we now provide the best of the best in setups, paint schemes, coaching, broadcasting, and event organization.
With cars across all 4 license classes, we have what you need to hit the track with confidence. Grab a subscription and save money while going fast at MaconiSetupShop.com/subscriptions.
And remember, at Maconi Setup Shop, there are setups, but your victories.
We have a fantastic sprint to the end of Stage 2 coming up here for you for the full-length Cup Challenge NASCAR Cup at Sonoma. I'm James Newton. Alongside me is Sky Shrek. We're having a look at the 2 RFK teammates on the front row. Conklin running away with Basin earlier on before the yellow came out. We are heading into the final corner here at Sonoma, and we will be get this one back under green. Waiting way later than other runs, and now they go there. And the 17's away. We are green once again at Sonoma.
Yeah, it's RFK 1 and 2 on this restart for Conklin and Basin as they make their way back up the hill. Paul Hill under pressure from Jonathan Delaney back there for P3, but Hill will run away with the spot as we see a little bit deeper in the field. Matthew David Wood going side by side with Noah Hodgson there for P7 as You got the 73 car with some major damage there down through the corner. That is Evan Mesnard. Not the first time that we've seen him in trouble tonight, although that might be the last time we've seen him in trouble tonight, because that car will tow. No. Yeah, the 48 also heavily involved in that. He just... Oh, that was some kind of hardware issue there for that 73 car on Tyler Hunter. An unfortunate victim, I think, has just seen his race come to an end as well as a result there.
Unavoidable on the outside of one there as, left rear. Looking at live pictures here. Basin trying not to drop it out of 10. And again, just try to keep it out of that pit wall that splits the track.
Oh, we're 4 wide. We're 4 wide out of the hairpin. We're 4 wide out of the hairpin. Hunter Truel, Devin Medeiros. Oh my goodness, I thought that was about to be a big one. Alex Coffey and Joseph Goulart got away there. That was absolutely wild. Goulart has taken over 11th, Coffey to 12th, and Coffey's going to give him a huge shot there to move him offline. He's now going to try to make the move for P12. Hunter Truel is not out of this fight either, back in 13th, as Coffey now has a big dent in the nose as a result of trying to make that move. That was an eventful set of corners there for just outside the top 10, as we're going to go side by side a little bit deeper here with Timothy Harper. Lucas Hoytsma trying to get back up the field. He'll whiff the corner entirely, and Timothy Harper will hold that spot.
They are still too wide all the way throughout the field here. It is, these restarts are just fantastic to watch, but being in them is just gotta be the most hectic thing. Obviously, huge opportunities as well for the likes of Hoytsma. Andrew Dyson there just outside the top 21 as we pick up Jonathan Delaney in the 6. Still running top 5. Decent gap back to Pearson. Most likely will be attacking Hill more than any kind of defense. Roman still only 28 spots made up. But running in the top 10. Blake Giglio, the next driver for that chrome bubblegum machine. Blake Giglio, pro driver. Right, strongly. Haven't talked much about Blake Giglio. We got to talk a lot about this person here in the 97 of Lucas Hoytsma. And let's have a look here into 4. Then time jumps to 7A. So we are down the inside. A corner quite popular. Again, just trying to get the drive off of that corner into these S's has been so important here. Guy and the drivers that get it right really have a good look into this corner right here.
Yeah, it's been really important for these drivers all race long. Whoa, problems there for Sean Conklin up at the front of the field here, and he missed the corner there, and that is going to let Dylan Basin get down to about half a second in that battle out of the hairpin. You can see that gap was a little bit more than half a second as he made his way down through the S's, and then as he comes down into turn 11 here, this big hairpin already off in the grass there as he tries to use every inch of track and then some to get some time. Down through the hairpin, we'll see how this happened for Sean Conklin. Oh, yeah, just goes wide there. A little too late on the brakes. Was able to save it, but lost a lot of time.
Yeah, had to try to turn in early potentially. Also potentially a hardware issue there. Still has the lead. Has a larger gap to Basin than Basin has to Hill, that's for sure. And Conklin, again, just almost straddling the curbs. The front tires almost seem to have more over the outside of the curb than they do towards the track. These drivers, you can just tell the body language has really changed, Sky. The body language is just full tilt. We've got about 7 laps to go before the end of the stage. And these drivers are hustling.
Yeah, stage 2 has been quite a bit more frantic than stage 1 has been, as you see the 19 Ralph Hutchison up the inside. Andrew Dyson will go with, and those 3 cars looking around Devin Medeiros, who has been in free fall in that 20 car. He had that thing up inside the top 15. He was in that battle, that 4 wide race there for P11 not too long ago. He's already slipped back to P18. A lot of problems for that 20 car right now. I wonder if he was one of the last cars who didn't pit there. Yeah, he was one of the last cars who stayed out, and he has really slipped back as a result, as the cars who hit on that last caution, including Lucas Hoytsma, Ralph Hutchinson, Andrew Dyson, and the highest one, Robert Miller, up in P12, make their way through the field. As that is another move right there for Andrew Dyson. He'll take P16 on Ralph Hutchinson.
Just so much confidence. That is what the 41 needs to do to try to make their way up through this field. As we pick up Robert Miller here in 12th position. In 15, trying to hunt down Lada's 99. Knocking on the door of the top 10 after being up in 7th and 8th. Beginning of this one. Quite a good fight back there. Hunter Truel making a position. Matthew David Wood. Fair gap back of Roman. Oh, and this looks like something here. 16 trying to hang on to that there. The 99 I thought was maybe going to try to have a crossover move underneath here. And nothing doing for the moment, but again, they seem to be going inside and outside on each other. The 99 now in trouble.
Yeah,
Robert Miller down the inside.
Robert Miller, first car who took 4 tires on that caution there on lap 44. I mean, he's made it work. He has passed Hoytsma, Dyson. He's gotten past those cars and is now in hot pursuit of basically everyone in front of him. He's running some of the fastest lap times on the track here, even while stuck in traffic. There's a lot of speed on that 15 car, and he needs to use it as much as he can before that caution comes out on lap 55 to signal the end of stage 2 and the end of his tire advantage.
Yeah, trying to make hay while the rubber is fresh. Roman there trying to get away from the 16. That was a decent gap earlier on. There is pretty much no gap here. Well, a little bit of breathing room, but I think that with each corner, it's getting a bit worse for the 95, a bit better for the 16. Battles continue to rage all through the field here. Fantastic racing we've seen so far here at Sonoma. And Sky, this has been a pretty exciting one, to say the least.
Yeah, we've seen some really intense racing all throughout the field there. As you see Vroman up in 9th. Wood is going to try to make a move here. Dives it down into the corner, but doesn't just have enough under braking, and he's stuck back there in P10 with Robert Miller on much fresher tires, starting to hound that car for P10. And I would not be surprised if, as we head out of the chicane down into the hairpin, oh, he's not even going to need the hairpin. I think the 16 car just let him by there. Robert Miller goes straight around, and he will be in pursuit of Nicholas Vroman. Those are teammates, those two cars, so likely Wood opting to just get out of the way so his faster teammate can pursue Nicholas Vroman. Miller up in 10th on newer tires. 4 to go in the stage.
MDW hopefully maybe on the horn saying, hey, Miller, when you get by Vroman, please leave the door open. As we see, oh my goodness, we got 2 wide down onto the start-finish straight. That has resolved itself, but this is way too close for comfort here for the likes of Cameron Stone. We pick up here Robert Miller again down the inside this time. Again, Nicholas Vroman making that work into 4. And the charge continues on those fresh tires.
The tires playing a pretty big role here for those cars who took them on that last restart, but you gotta wonder how much they're actually going to be able to stay up in this battle before it all starts to go wrong once this kind of changes over at the next pit stop. If these cars stay out once we get to lap 55, they might end up losing a lot of time, as we're going to see a lot of cars come into pit here in this line. It's going to be Vroman, looks like Giglio, and it looks like that's going to be Matthew David Wood all into the pit lane here, and those cars are going to take tires right before the pit lane closes. And oh my god, we're going to see everybody in Truel, Dyson, Coffey, Hoytsma, Hutchison. Whole field coming down. How's that going to stand for these top 7 cars?
Yeah, this will be interesting here to see how, again, obviously the shoe keeps flipping from one foot to the other, and that pendulum effect will continue as the strategies split. And yeah, this is gonna be quite an interesting one. Obviously, with the fresher tires, the drivers are able to make up those spots, able to get it done. Trick is, how much of a sitting duck are they going to be the start and the first, I guess, maybe 15, 20 laps or so of this final stage coming up. Conklin and Basin, well, I was going to say Conklin and Basin are out front. That is not true at all. So Basin inherits the lead. Conklin down pit road as well.
All right, so he will bring that car in, and he'll make it into the pit road right before Basin crosses the line to close that pit lane. Delaney Pearson into the pit road as well. So those cars may be reacting to what they saw with almost the entire field coming down there in the mid-pack, and have opted to make that move down, leaving Dylan Basin, Paul Hill, Noah Hodgson, Adam Benefiel, and I think Joseph Gulata out here as the cars who still have not pit since the end of stage 1. And obviously when they pit at the caution, that is going to really throw them a curveball. They're going to go way deep in the field, and we'll see if they're able to recover. Devin Medeiros on that strategy as well, along with Casey Graves, Michael Tucker, Alan Duggar, Chad Sanner, the cars who pit at the end of stage 1 and have not pit since.
Have one more time by here after we make this. We have a really long stop. Conklin still stationary. Hearing maybe they potentially sped. Conklin has been flying and might have been flying at the wrong time there, Sky.
Well, he's going to lose a lap here. That'll drop him a lap down if he can't get this thing out. I'm going to take a look at the pit road entry, see exactly what happened. Yeah, it doesn't look like... Maybe. I can't tell you. It was close. Yeah, he's still in that box. Maybe something else wrong for Conklin there. He sat in that box for a full minute and 16 seconds. And that is going to maybe be the end of his chance to win this race here, unless he gets a caution, because he's gone a lap down. This is the battle for the stage lead here with Dylan Basin and Paul Hill. Battle for the stage win coming down to the end of this one here, and I wonder if Paul Hill is going to have something to say for Dylan Basin as we head through this final chicane here on lap 55. Hill and Basin down the hill. Basin has the advantage here, but Paul Hill can pull a hero move if he wants, and he is going to opt to not do so. So Dylan Basin will make it around through the hairpin. He's got one more corner here in turn 12, and Dylan Basin will be your stage 2 winner tonight at Sonoma, with Paul Hill second, Nolan Hodgson third, Robert Miller, Adam Benefiel your top 5.
Corey Mower here, bringing up this, I was going to say 4 or 5. Oh, here we go, down the inside. This, you talked about hero move. Here comes a hero. Doesn't have the nose next door, but there's plenty of space. It's Cameron Stone. Goes well wide in the 57 and up into 9th position goes the 42. Right here at the death. Going back to the Conklin thing, we were looking at Hunter Truel. Maybe the lucky dog in the 71 here, as we have the race results after 55 laps here. Stage 2 over here at Sonoma. Dylan Basin coming away with it. Paul Hill very close, but second on the line. Nolan Hodgson, 3rd place. Robert Miller on this fresh tires up into 4th position. Adam Benefiel, and it's Gulata, Medeiros, Mower, and Cameron Stone, your top 10 for stage 2.
And the cars who just missed out on those stage points here tonight: Michael Tucker, Casey Graves, Sean O'Brien, Alan Duggar, and Chad Sanner at the moment. So pit stops are going to come here for a lot of cars very shortly on this caution. Got to imagine your top few, your top handful, Basin, Hill, Hodgson coming down. Do you think Robert Miller comes down or not after pitting on lap 40? We'll see.
Yeah, I think just extending that even further and just continue to leapfrog, I think it's going to be the name of the game for the 15. Well, I guess I'll put it this way. I'd be surprised if they do. As Basin still looking strong there. Miller on those tires, again, making those decisive moves, right? You can have fresh tires and not make up spots. Take it from me. You can be one of the quicker cars and just not have the opportunities, or at least not make the opportunities to get those positions to try to, 2-for-1s whenever you can. Try to make a nice, clean overtake, really, really good down the inside. We see some fantastic moves into 7A through the chute here as we're actually heading there right now. And the 15's been doing that. Andrew Dyson currently in 21st, but Andrew Dyson's been making some decent moves out there. And again, we've seen a handful of drivers here, Sky, that, again, they seem to have the pace. They're all over the back of their competition and not able to make the moves. Maybe not quite able to get those overlaps in the crucial corners. And it seems to be kind of keeping them stuck where they are despite the pace.
Well, as we are right now, just over the halfway mark of this race, I think you're really going to start to see intensity ramp up through the later stages of this one. I think we're going to see a really, really good finish to this one. As, I mean, your top two cars all night both having problems so far. I mean, it was looking really good for Andrew Dyson. He spun. He's back in 21st. Sean Conklin's a lap down. Doesn't have the lucky dog. He'll likely get it when we get our third random caution. But who knows when that'll happen. If we get that third random caution, he'll get that lucky dog. But again, who knows when, if that'll happen. So not something he can rely on here, as we're going to see pit stops for a lot of cars in the field. We'll try to figure out exactly who's coming down for you, as we have Basin, Hill, Hodgson, Miller all in. Might be a wave around here for Conklin, as it's Gulata, Pluat, Medeiros, Moore, Hunter, or Miller did opt to come in. And we got a couple other cars looking like they're going to stay out here. Neil Pearson in the 62, staying out, along with there's a couple others. Andrew Dyson will stay out in that 41 car, so he'll move himself back up to the front of the field. Matthew David Wood, Blake Giglio, Nicholas Broman, Alex Coffey, Lucas Hoytsma, Jonathan Delaney, all staying out. Same as Rob Hutchison, the same does Timothy Harper. Battle off pit road. Dylan Basin is going to get it over Nolan Hodgson, who's going to go side by side with Paul Hill, but I think Hodgson got that spot. No, they're going to give it to Paul Hill on pit exit.
Close call there.
Conklin is going to get that wave around, so he'll be back on the lead lap, but on a little bit older rubber. Same rubber that Pearson, Dyson, Wood, all these cars up here in the top 10 are on.
Obviously not ideal. And again, just a humongous change in the complexion of this race here. Conklin obviously will be most likely making up some spots, but again, it's going to be, the whole day is going to be just trying to get back around. However, still pacing here. Having a look here at Truel and Conklin.
Just past halfway here, and it's going to be interesting to see how this pit strategy plays out. We're going to take a very quick break as we continue to make pace laps here at Sonoma. We'll be right back here on Maconi Entertainment.
Racing isn't easy, but experiencing it is. iRacing puts you in the driver's seat with the industry's leading sim racing game. Drive on laser scan replicas of the greatest racing circuits from around the world. Go head-to-head against other drivers chosen by skill-based matchmaking to ensure competitive racing at every level. Compete across all your favorite series. in officially licensed cars engineered to deliver the most accurate driving experience possible. Join a race or host your own with players from across the globe. Race against the computer or in a league with friends. Feel the thrill behind the wheel. Visit iRacing.com.
When you want to be the best, you can't settle for the rest. For anything on iRacing, there's just one name you need, Maconi.
With the launch of Maconi Entertainment and Maconi Competizone alongside Maconi Setup Shop, we now provide the best of the best in setups, paint schemes, coaching, broadcasting, and event organization.
With cars across all 4 license classes, we have what you need to hit the track with confidence. Grab a subscription and save money while going fast at MaconiSetupShop.com/subscriptions.
And remember, at Maconi Setup Shop, there are setups, but your victories.
Welcome back to the Full-Length Cup Challenge NASCAR Cup here at Sonoma on Maconi Entertainment. I'm James Newton alongside Sky Shrek here. Up in the comms booth, we have had a action-packed Sonoma event so far. We are through 2 stages. We're currently under our 2nd stage caution. And we are looking at Andrew Dyson on the front row next to Neil Pearson. We get one more lap of gridding up here. Apologies, the lights are out on pace car. 911 will pull into the pits. Drivers make their way down to the far side of the circuit. We're going to get this one wound up and going. It's Pearson and Dyson on the front row. Then it's Matthew David Wood. Then it's Giglio, Vroman, Coffey, Delaney, Hoytsma, Harper. Apologies, Ralph Hutchison and Timothy Harper. Your top 10. Mason, Hill, Miller, and Hodgson just outside the top 10. We get set to go racing once again. Again, an early jump there for Pearson. We are immediately wrecking.
There goes Roman hard into the wall, and the caution will fly immediately.
There are at least 2 cars that collected Roman on the side of the wall. Entered in there, and they're just trying to get off of the start-finish line. Roman almost backed into somebody there as well. Topsy-turvy start. You can watch the second row there, the outside car, the number 8. Oh, a bit of a 54. Runs over the 8 and continues to run them over. And the 20 gets collected on the right side. 23 getting into Roman as well. A lot of friends there for that shiny 95.
Nasty hit for
My
Devin
goodness me.
Medeiros, too. Devin Medeiros back here. He took a pretty rough hit on the tail end of this as he tries to slip through along the inside wall. And it really just doesn't end up working out for him.
It looked like the accident was on the outside on the right, and they checked up a little bit. There was a bit of smoke. The guys up in front going on through, so it didn't look like there was any issue. And then all of a sudden, got that chrome vehicle moving across the track, obviously after being hit and striking the outside wall. And we just got pincered to the inside. Look here, this is, I believe, the 54 of Alex Coffey. Oh yeah, we're already into the back here. And we are just trying to cut the grass. It seems, trying to get through that. The 54 damage all over the front fascia of that machine. Currently in 5th. And there is obviously, at the start here at Sonoma Sky, there's nowhere to go. You've got a wall on your left, you've got a wall on your right. There is no escape.
Yeah. Especially when you're on that start-finish line, that front straight there, it can be so easy for it to all go wrong. And you saw that there on the restart as cars just ran over other cars and it all stacked up into one huge pileup.
Makes me think of Watkins Glen as well, where there's just not a lot of runoff. There's even less runoff here. There's no grass in sight when it comes to the start line here at Sonoma. And we are yellow once again. Pearson up at the front there. So it's Pearson, then Wood, then Dyson, third. Long-time leader. You know what? Why don't we have a chat with 62 there? Neil Pearson. Here's here. Neil Pearson. It's James and Sky in the comms booth. Got a copy?
I got a copy.
There's nobody in front of you but the pace car here at the moment there. Matthew Dave Wood just in behind Andrew Dyson in 41. Close as well. How are you doing over there for right now?
Pretty good. I don't think I had the ultimate pace, but you know, I'm just trying to keep my car clean and keep myself there and see what happens. You know, just do the best that I can and bring it home wherever I finish.
You qualified impeccably. You're back up there now. How's the 62 feeling in terms of the long run?
Pretty good. I made some adjustments after the first stage, and I made it a lot better over the long run. I got a bit tight through the right stuff, and yeah, she's feeling a lot better now.
There's a couple of right-handers at this track, unfortunately, so hope that gets worked out there. How are you feeling about this restart coming up?
Good. The last one went well until the caution came out straight away. So if I could just replicate that and just be on my way and just feel how the race plays out. You know, I know the 41's fast, and you know, so we'll just. I think I got the 16 covered. Don't know about the 95, but you know, I'm just got to run my own race and just do what I can and finish as high as I can.
Excellent. Well, we'll let you get back to it there, and good luck the rest of the way.
Thank you.
Always lovely to chat with the drivers right in the thick of it. Obviously, you know, sometimes you'll get weird. We're going to have a look at the right rear. Oh my goodness there. That looks like a Honda Prelude with the four-wheel steering. Sky, how many degrees would you have a guess that right rear is sitting at?
I dropped out of my math major. I couldn't tell you. A lot.
It's not 90, but it might be.
A lot would be my guess. Still in fourth. I don't think he's going to be fourth for very long.
It will help him with right-handers.
That's true. Might not help him with left-handers.
Right. Yeah. In all sincerity, again, a horrendous moment there for the 95 as far as the involvement in that accident on the start-finish straight that brought out this caution. We'll go ahead and have a look at the 95's journey. Again, about a 10-15 second journey for the cars.
Did you ever break your fidget spinner and it was really off balance? That's what driving that 95 is about to feel like.
He would be left hand down, if I'm not mistaken. Trying to keep it going left as I'm sure the car's just trying to go to the right. He basically has an anchor off the right rear, is what I would assume.
That car is going turn right real well, though.
We'll keep an eye on it for sure.
Yeah, he's about a right turn like no one's ever seen before. Don't look at what happens when he tries to go left. Don't look at what happens in turn one. But he gonna have some problems behind the wheel of that 95 car, to say the very least.
I think I'm more interested in
he has that wheel way to the
capabilities.
left down the straightaway. Ick. I'm really not sure how he's gonna go off from fourth here. Yeah, his wheel is definitely turned to the left more than you would like it to be, but it's not like a obscene amount.
Yeah, I would expect there to be a dark black stripe following wherever the 95 goes. Almost like that slug from Monsters Inc. that cleans up after himself there. I would just assume that there'd be a trail behind the 95. The lights are out, I believe, and there goes the 911 into the pits. We're going to get this thing back underway after a chaotic start here to the third stage. We're going to 110. Neil Pearson alongside Matthew David Wood on the front row. Longtime leader Dyson and Vroman with a right rear that is interesting to look at. Very late, and Pearson goes. We are under 3 once again at Sonoma.
We are back rolling here, and oh yeah, it's terrible evil for that 95 car. He's all the way out of the picture. I think he's going to go to basically last by the time we're finished getting up the hill. We're 3 wide through turn 1, and that car of Roman has not driven at all. He will go all the way to the rear of the field. He might even have to tow that thing because it's not going to make it around in any sort of good shape. Matthew David Wood in second ahead of Andrew Dyson right now as Neil Pearson leads us away. Dyson is putting the pressure on the back of that 16 car. He'll dive it side by side into turn 5, and Pearson whiffs the corner. We're all stacked up here going through turn 6. We're door to door through the S's for P1. We're door to door for P3, and it's a power move for Dyson on the outside of that one, giving him the lead. Oh, Hoytsma's almost around. Big loose moment for that car in 4th. David Wood will hold on to 3rd as Hoytsma, Basin, Delaney back from there.
It is getting seriously scrappy here. There were about 3 or 4, as we have Alex Coffey in the 54. Has had a crash limping through the S's. Again, it's just pandemonium. Plenty of runoff there, but you got to make it back before the wall closes in. And here's Coffey down the inside. Looks like the 29 of Tanner Marty. Again, trying to get the rhythm. Oh, and there goes the rear, just a snap. Oh, and a big moment there as well. That was right on the exit of the apex. And 54 down pit road. Wow. Well,
Yeah.
Sky, we're back underway here, but we saw two
Whoa,
wide.
Lucas Hoytsma for
Two wide
P4.
here again.
Lucas Hoytsma's going at it there with Dylan Basin. That's for 4th. Basin will take that spot away. He'll hold the spot there as Hoytsma looked like he might have had the advantage for a brief moment around the inside.
They're all moving and shaking here. These cards are getting shuffled. Dyson has hit the front. Pearson drops to 2nd position. And Matthew David Wood in the 16. Getting it on to 3rd at the moment. So it's Dyson, then Pearson, then Wood, then Basin, then Hoytsma, then Delaney, Miller, Hutchison, Hodgson, and Benefiel. Your top 10. We have a spattering of 2 wide action there. Again, these exits on these slower corners. Really important for these drivers getting the over, or the undercut, I should say. See again here, Robert Miller to make Delaney's life that much harder in the 6. Sky, who are you seeing that's got the line that seems to be the most confident overtake, like the one that always gets it done? I feel like every driver kind of puts half a car in there, and it sometimes works out, sometimes it doesn't. Who's the driver that you're seeing that's really got it dialed in?
Vroman had it dialed in, but a series of unfortunate events have happened to that 95 car, and he has it whatever the exact opposite of dialed in is right now. He's got that car locked out on that 95 as he's limping it for points, but it's not in any sort of position. Andrew Dyson has done very well to make passes today, so has this 15 car of Robert Miller, who with 4 fresh tires was able to knife through the field through the latter half of stage 2, and he'll try to get more spots here with just 44 laps to go in this race. So we are single file through much of the field, not back here because Conklin has already driven that car back up to P11, getting around Blake Cloutier there, or Blake Cluot there, my bad, as he has taken over P11 from that car.
Got
Into the
Sanner.
point disqualification there for Sanner. Chad Sanner in trouble.
Yeah, trying to stay out of trouble, and it has not worked out for the 24. Meanwhile, here, we're looking at Hodgson and Hutchison. They are battling for the outskirts of the top 10. Not the outskirts, the inskirts. I guess we're just going to keep saying in and out a whole bunch of times here, as we also see the 83 of Benefiel, and again, Conklin at the back of this. Extremely impatient is the 17. Oh my goodness, why I say that. And around goes the 83. Benefiel has it straightened out, one of the fastest parts of the track. Gonna catch a replay down to 18th at the moment.
He was running 10th when it happened. Let's see what happens here. He's got 17 of Conklin behind him. And Conklin, let's see if he helps him at all here. This 83 continues to make his way down towards the hairpin. And, oh no, just let it out on his own there. Conklin gave him a little help once he started to go. But that loose initial moment there was all on his own for that 83 car.
After those tires there's plenty of wall to hit and no contact, so that's good news for them. Pick it back up here. Now we're looking at Tanner Marty trying to crawl their way up the hill here, it seems.
See what happened to that car as well. We've got a couple incidents occurring here really throughout the field.
Up through turn 1 and left side tires off. Oh my goodness, so late. Immediately locks the wheels, trying to keep it from going back over into the racing line. Very good reflexes there for 29, trying to preserve themselves, because obviously coming back across, you can just let it roll. Conklin going to work here. That is 9th position now. Got in front of Ralph Hutchison, 19. And that march is looking quite good there. Eyebrows raised, and a 113 dead almost there for Sean Conklin. Andrew Dyson was in the 112.9s a couple laps ago there. About 3/10 back of the times. But again, Sean Conklin in dirty air, running 113.0s. Extremely quick even in traffic. And Sky, this is not looking preposterous at all here. Conklin is on the way to potentially the front.
I wonder if his tires being 10 laps newer than Andrew Dyson are playing a major role in this, because your top 6 cars in the field right now, well, I would say your top 2 and then 4 through 6 all pit 15 to 16 to 17 laps ago. Dylan Basin up in 3rd, pit 12 laps ago. That's why he's got so much speed right now in that thing as he tries to chase down Neil Pearson. But then it's Miller and Hodgson 12 laps ago. Conklin only 8 laps ago. He pit after taking that wave around there on that big pile up that happened right on the restart. So he's got 10 lap newer tires than your leader, and even though a lot of the 10 laps for Dyson were run under caution, clearly newer tires are better, especially at a track this hot with the track temp at 111 degrees, and that's paying off in Conklin's favor right now as we watch Bateson and Pearson do battle in the battle for P2. And then you got Hoytsma and Wood behind him. Hoytsma just made that pass for P4.
A lot of moving and shaking. Uncertainty is the only thing that is certain so far here. And RFK driver in the 06 trying to have a look at the 62. Going to be patient. Tuck back in. You mentioned there about the amount of laps on the tires. Obviously, these are Sonoma laps as well, so it's not like, 5, 10, 15 laps or so. It's 3 or 4 laps can be a big difference, considering if they're under green flags. We're seeing Hill around the outside of Alan Duggar. That is for 13th position. Pick back up this podium battle here. Pearson, Basin together on track, extending out, trying to get away from that wall there. And a half look down the inside. This one is just simmering. And it may be about to boil over. Oh, and speaking of boiling over, I think that was Nicholas Vroman.
Problem there for somebody. Yeah, it was Nicholas Vroman. That car was already in a lot of trouble. And did it find more trouble here? I would imagine so, as that car, you know, doesn't really turn left at all. And makes it through there clean. How's this going to work in the turn one? Not at all.
That looks like the restart. Sky, that looks like just nothing through that long left-hander. We're kind of cutting up a little bit about that right rear, causing plenty of right side rotation. It's true. That right rear really obviously is the unloaded tire, but through that left-hander, right side takes all of the weight. And I can't believe that they've made it through any other time, considering the amount of tow on that right rear. This battle's getting close here. We gotta have a send here, Sky. This is looking really tight.
We might have one here in just a moment. Here's Dylan Basin up the inside of Neil Pearson, and he'll get that spot easily. Pearson doesn't push too hard, and Basin is up into P2. That RFK car on the move here at this point in the race.
On the move, indeed. Both RFK cars looking, I almost said fairly racy. Both RFK cars are flying at the moment. Obviously, with the newer tires there, Conklin, who has gotten Hodgson, is trying to about a quarter of a second off of Miller, but nobody close to Andrew Dyson at the moment. 3.5 seconds out. Meanwhile, this is about as close as it gets here. The 15 trying to get away from the 17, trying to get away from the 6. They're still bunched up here. Going to go to turn 1.
There we go, Basin.
Checked up and down the inside. Almost a wall strike there. And how about that bravery from Conklin there, getting pitched to the inside and takes it in turn 1.
Good driving there for Conklin to get that spot away from Delaney and Hodgson as they continue to go at it back from 6th through 9th on the racetrack. Robert Miller bringing up the tail end of this pack. There's about a 3-second gap from Miller back to Ralph Hutchison there in the 19 car. As Conklin is already starting to get away here. So much speed in that 17. Newer tires are a part of it, but it's also just that Conklin is extremely fast in that car right now that he's able to pull away. Hodgson might have something for Delaney here over the next couple laps. That 12 car back there in P8 right now is moving with some speed, and Delaney seems to be struggling a little bit the longer this run goes on.
And next up behind is Hodgson and Miller, as you said, who were scrapping it out at the exit of this corner. I'm assuming they're probably scrapping it out at the beginning of this corner. At the exit as well. And the 6 steps out again. Almost an identical look, except for almost in the wall, actually. Except the 15 was at the head of this trio earlier on. Conklin's gotten through. And the 15 sticks a nose into the inside, which becomes the outside. Turn 1 going to maybe try to cut it back. But again, it just keeps right, left through this section. So crossover won't be a really good look here. Let's 15 tries it into 3. Nothing there. 3A. And potentially crossover, a little bit too much curb potentially on the inside. And the 6 can take a single
Tanner
breath.
Marty off track, right in front of these cars. We'll go a lap down without too many issues, but scary moment there potentially for Tanner Marty.
Plenty of runoff there as well, luckily. Some areas where extending is going to be the end of your night.
Good pass there for Paul Hill on Michael Tucker. Just made that move for P12 on the racetrack as Paul Hill, who has run up in the top 3 at points tonight, is trying to make his way back up through the field. He was a little bit involved in that big accident there on the restart, hit on that caution. So he's got the same tire strategy going as Sean Conklin, who has been able to drive through the field at the moment, but still has quite a bit more work to do to get back up to where he was running earlier on in this race. As Conklin closing in on Matthew David Wood very quickly here. That gap that was 1 second down to 3/10 after just about a lap in this battle for 5th. It was Conklin with a 1:13.3 last time around. Matthew David Wood with a 1:14 flat. So a lot of extra speed there for Sean Conklin at the moment as he continues to pursue Matthew David Wood. I think he's the 2nd fastest car on track right now, and David Wood will let him by. Conklin will take 5th. 2nd fastest car on the track right now, only behind Dylan Basin.
Pearson also currently flying there. Took 2/10 out of Dyson's lead last time around. Back under 3 seconds and the lead. And Conklin getting it done on Wood. Well, Wood making that move fairly easy. Is again the right front of the 17. Just all over the curbing. Obviously here you cannot cut. In rally, they would tell you don't cut that one. As in DW take a little bit of wall. Trying to cut it a little bit. Unintentionally, of course. Now we pick up Robert Miller here, who is very slow through the kink. There's nothing here for Blake Kluot. And this quartet here, hotly contested.
Yeah, so we can maybe a run here behind that 15 car for the 14 of Blake Kluot as we go through this corner. He's really starting to get really dialed in that 14 car to get it back up to the rear bumper of Robert Miller, who another car that we've seen running up in the top 5 at points of this race, but maybe he doesn't have the speed at this stage on this strategy and is sitting back towards the tail end of the top 10. At least Blake Kluot has gotten a lot of speed in this race as the race has gone on. Started back in 23rd, has driven that car up to 10th. Second biggest mover tonight, only behind Michael Tucker, who's gone from 30th to 13th.
There is Michael Tucker in 36 machine. Slinging it through the S's and heading down. Speaking of heading down here, flurry of activity on pit road. Blake Hutchison. Yeah, I thought I saw some blue. The exploded 95 still sitting there as well. Gulata, Hutchison, among others, heading down pit road. Robert Miller as well. Yeah, Robert Miller enjoying the fresh tires earlier on there, Sky, and then obviously having to pay for it a little later on. Obviously still driving quite well, but it can really just kind of change the momentum, change the way you're driving as you're, being overtaken car after car. Obviously, kind of probably does the opposite to your psyche. Whenever you have fresh tires, you're just ripping by everybody, going, "Why are they going so slow? Why are they braking there?" It's because you've got the freshest stuff on track, and it feels fantastic. And obviously, the inverse is also true.
Because we're starting to come down to the end of this one. Only 33 to go as Sean Conklin is going to bring the fight here to Lucas Hoytsma on the racetrack. Neil Pearson as well in a tight 3-car battle for the final spot on the podium. It's that 62 and Neil Pearson running away with it right now, but you can't count out Hoytsma, can't count out Conklin because they are right here. Conklin will go door to door with Hoytsma. This is for P2, or this is for P4, excuse me, and he'll get that spot away. One more car up in front of him is Neil Pearson. That's for P3. And then, just like that, he'll be back up on the podium if he can get it done.
Conklin making this work with a sledgehammer of pace. Running a 1/10 of a second off of Andrew Dyson while overtaking cars. And that's cars plural. As Conklin slicing their way through the field, under 2/10 behind Pearson. There's no need to tell me the numbers. Pictures speak 1,000 words. And Conklin's almost having to drive through 2 windshields here. Pearson having that really deep moment. What kind of composure do we have on the brakes here for the 62? Little bit of a move to the inside there. Able to hook it up, but a much better exit here for the 17. Obviously, significantly fresher tires. Pearson still hanging tough, though. And how about Conklin earlier on around the outside? Obviously, having fresh tires down the inside is nice and easy. Around the outside on somebody who has 10-lap-old tires can be kind of nerve-wracking.
Yeah, it was a good job there by Pearson to maintain that advantage, even with Conklin coming right after him here in that battle for position. As that 17 car clearly has a lot of speed, but he needs to actually be able to make the pass against Neil Pearson, who has really shown himself to be a good defender. Here's Conklin going at it one more time. This is a corner we know cars can pass in, turn 7, and he will get it done easily here. Finally making that move, as Pearson will drop to 4th, and will now have to contend with Lucas Hoytsma, who's not gone yet back in P5. He is floating a steady distance just behind this battle as Dyson just has to lap William Owens there. That's one more car who's going to play a role in this. Thomas Kolmacheski into the pit lane. Is that a scheduled pit stop here for that 88 car? Maybe the first car to take a scheduled stop to try to go to the end of the race?
They could certainly make it there. Be looking good here. Part of the second group there as we have a look here at the 97 still trying to stay in touch. I was going to say staying in touch there with Conklin, but basically hunting down Pearson at this point. Chesky out of the box and on their way. Team Ralph Hutchison loses spot a little further back. And Timothy Harper there was able to pick their pocket, but we'll actually have to see what kind of composure they've got. Again, the composure into the braking zone may tell us who might be pulling away. The answer is nobody's pulling away. The answer is they may be going in here too wide. This is getting quite close here. For 22nd position, so outside the top 20. Little bitty bit of contact.
Ooh.
Trying to pinch. Oh, I was going to say, going to try to pinch to the inside, but that was more of a squeeze. And the 23 able to stay out of the wall, it looks like.
He caught it a little bit there on the inside on that bend. It was a really good save by him to not make any bigger contact with that wall. Hoytsma. That's still kind of the main battle up here in the top 10. It's Hoytsma and Pearson. Conklin is absolutely shot like a rocket away from those cars. Hoytsma still within half a second on Pearson, and incident point DQ for Alex Coffey tonight. Uh-oh. He will join 54. A couple other cars who have had that problem. He's not the only one. Chad Sanner also had his race end early as a result of that. I believe Nicholas Isaacs might have as well. He's out of the race one way or another. Might have been just damage there from a wreck on that car. As we continue to race around here, 29 laps to go tonight in what has been a tight one and what will undoubtedly end up being a very tight finish here as well to wind down the end of this race here at Sonoma. Still got a pit stop left for, I'd say, really the entire field. And for a lot of these cars, strategy now is just going to be, when do you make that pit stop? And when do you put that final set of tires on? Obviously, we might have that caution left. You never know if that random caution is still on the board, and it could throw off some of these drivers if it is. Whoa, 30 car around. It was right in front of that 17 of Conklin. This was a lap car there getting some contact. That was William Owens, who had just been lapped by the leader, and well, I'm not really sure what Owens was doing there. I think maybe he didn't think Conklin was coming up as fast as Conklin was actually coming up, and doored him. We'll get the replay on this here. Owens is just having a bad time. Conklin tries to duck to the inside, and Owens tries to stop him, and it doesn't really work out too well for him.
Yeah, it looked like, I guess the idea would be just kind of running your own race, but it's not actually your own race. Everybody else is out there as well. And trying to check on the left side. Obviously, the closing speed quite large, but again, trying to side their way through the field was Conklin. Again, running very, very good laps in the 17, as we've been speaking about all night. Here at Hoytsma. And yeah, back to the Alex Coffey DQ there. Obviously, that 54 has been in a plethora of events, we'll say, and unfortunate for the 54. Yeah, a little bit more traffic here, potentially helping Hoytsma out. No issues for the 97. 62 not able to extend the corner out of 2. That may just bring Hoytsma that much closer. Wood in the back lurking as we have a look here at Jose Medina, significantly off the track. Timothy Harper just in front as well. So again, this battle for 4th position. Quite interesting. Also the battle for the lead as well. coming down by about half a second or so. So Dyson and Basin at arm's length, but Basin is asking a couple questions. No doubt Dyson will be having a look here as we are on the chin cam, the nose cam of Hoytsma. You can see, oh, just that enormous bump right before the braking zone. Thank goodness it's not in the actual braking zone proper there. And otherwise you'd have a ton of rear locks trying to get those things stopped. And Pearson's still hanging tough. Pearson really is driving. Obviously, he's been having to drive a lot of defensive lines and has been kind of the cork in the bottle. But that cork is incredibly hard to, I'm trying to think of the word, uncork.
Yeah, it is. As we are coming down to the end of this one here really quickly, 26 laps to go tonight as we're going to get a couple more cars into the pit lane. Looks like Devin Medeiros has brought that car down. The 20 is in. And I wonder if we're going to see some more cars start to pit now as time is really running out in this race. And at a certain point, you've got to come down for fuel and tires or else you're going to run out here on the racetrack. So continue to keep an eye on the pit strategy. I think we're definitely within the window where cars could make it to the end if they come down now. It just depends on when do they want to make that move down. This Basin has been consistently faster than Andrew Dyson for a few laps. If I was Dyson, I might consider bringing it down here pretty soon.
Yeah, I think that is something to consider for sure for our leader. Interesting development here a little further back. Robert Miller currently in 17th and running the fastest lap of the race by about 0.3 of a second. Obviously, we were talking earlier about having some nasty old tires can really kind of kill the mojo, and you start going backward, getting past, kind of becoming a roadblock almost. Put some fresh ones on the 15, and you're a rocket ship once again. Obviously, trying to keep them in check until the end, and we may see a repeat of what we saw a little bit earlier where the 15 was having to duke it out.
You see all that pollution coming off the
really putting in some good laps there.
One of those cars there in the pits. Yeah, that is Vroman, Nicholas Vroman in the 95, who polluting the racetrack there with his blown engine, just continuing to sit on fire in the middle of the pit lane.
Yeah, I think it's probably about 30 to 35 minutes before the marshals go in and put that out in there.
They're distracted. They're playing on their phone. Whoa, Pearson loose. This could open up the door for Lucas Hoytsma in the battle for P5 as we've got another car down into the pits there. Hoytsma into the pits. Excuse me. I was definitely looking at about half a lap ago when Pearson got loose on my iRacing.
That's the very wide line.
Yeah. Hoytsma will come into the pits there, and that will be the first of your kind of main group of cars in the top 10 or 11 who will make that trek down into the pit lane as... Yeah, I mean, it's going to start in earnest now. I think a lot of cars have maybe been waiting as long as they can in the hopes that they will be able to come down at that second or at that third potential random yellow if we do get it. But the pit window is rapidly approaching, and we have not hit it yet. So you're going to see Lucas Hoytsma, you're going to see Casey Graves, you're going to start to see cars, especially those who pit at about 2 laps before the start of stage 3 and who have not come down since, such as... let's see, Hoytsma, Pearson, Matthew David Wood. Those are going to be the cars we'll be watching to come down here before anybody else.
Well under 30 to go here as we have, oh, somebody almost getting into split wall there. We have Conklin into the pits. Down the road for service there. It really does catch your eye, the explosion from the 95.
Yeah.
My racing driver eyes never get used to seeing a car with smoke out of the front or out of any part of it. It will always
considered to be bad in racing culture.
So I've been told. No, it's obviously, you know, feeling for the 95 there as well. You know, never good to have your day done. We have a look here at Hodgson trying to close down MDW in the 16. About half a second in it for now. the hand as
Lada, it was Hudson, it was Benefield, all coming down 10 laps ago as well. Basically, as soon as the window opened for those cars. Dyson is in here. Looks like Matthew David Wood has made that turn down. Blake Kluach is down. And we're going to have a couple others, Hunter Pruell as well. So pit stops fully underway now. I want to see where Dyson maybe cycles out of the pits. Looks like he cycled out 7 seconds in front of Sean Conklin. So about where the gap was before.
Be an interesting opening couple of laps for these drivers right out of the pits. And immediately we've got a battle in front of the 41 who immediately so decisive. Dyson down the inside of 7A. And head through the sweepers here. May try to pick one more off in the hairpin if they may be so bold. Corey Moore in the 42. Currently running 4th. Obviously, it's like still going on.
I don't think he's going to put up too much of a fight here with Dyson. I think Moore will probably get out of the way pretty quickly. Not really want to bring that battle to a car who is a pit stop and now a position ahead of him. And Dyson will get up to P3 with just P4 with just Duggar and Hodgson and Basin up in front of him. All 3 cars yet to pit. Sean Conklin is 12 seconds back right now of Andrew Dyson as he had a problem lap there, and that has brought him right back into the clutches of the 15 of Robert Miller and the 97 of Lucas Hoytsma. Neither of those cars willing to go away just yet. Oh, problems for Joseph Collada, who just crashed out of the race. We'll show you what happened to that 99 car. He crashed into the pit road well, he crashed a little before the pit road entry and kind of ended his continued slide in the pit road entry for this 99 car. As there, just off the track, gets loose and claps that wall there. That spins that car around, and he was trying to reverse it into the pits, but his car was so broken it was not really happening for him.
Yeah, looking for any kind of movement there. Nothing doing for the 99 there. Just a nasty accident.
Alan Duggar in. So is Dylan Basin. 2 of your top cars in the pits, and it's just Nolan Hodgson staying out now. So let's see where Basin cycles out in relation to Dyson, because that's going to be the big question here for that 06 car. And Dyson's going to come out way ahead, it looks like. Basin only leaving the pits now. So that gives Dyson, well, by the time Basin warms up his tires, it's going to be about a 5-second lead for Andrew Dyson.
Big development here. Dyson was about 3 or so seconds in the lead. And Basin with the gap relatively small. It was actually coming down a little bit. They were doing battle over about tenths of a second. And they were trading him, so it wasn't like they were gaining there. And Basin's got some work to do. You see there again, Corey Moore in the 42, potentially not going to put up the largest of fights there. Able to get through in the sweepers of the 06.
Nolan Hodgson is in. Dyson will cycle back around to the lead.
We got a race on our hands here, Sky. This is not going to be over by any stretch.
Nope. Basin does have fresher tires, but it's not by, an amount that'll really make a difference. It's maybe by a couple laps there, and as Dyson puts down the fastest lap of the race there with a 1:12.467. He's very clearly the car to beat, as he is in cruise control over Dylan Basin right now in that 06 car.
Really strong. Obviously, these drivers able to go 25 laps easily on a set. Obviously, Miller, one of the first ones, if not the first one, into the pits. So again, trying to run that undercut strategy that they've been on since the beginning, basically. They kind of set that in motion right at the start of this one. Pick up Cameron Stone here in the 57. Saw them have a wide moment laps ago in the hairpin. And now trying to do battle with, looks like, I was going to say do battle with Neil Pearson, more it's like Paul Hill on the way. And the 26 running very strongly. Earlier on, currently in the top 10. Now trying to have a look down the inside, and will get there quite easily, it looks like. I think David Wood almost trying to, well, not almost, he's there. The 16 down the inside will kind of run off the corner. Can the 16 get? A little bit of room there on the inside. 26 will slot back in front. And both drivers now in the top 10 after getting around the 57 of Stone. And that was a close moment there.
Paul Hill would definitely like to get himself back a little further up the field here. He did pit very early on the cycle, was one of the first cars to come in, so trying to play a little bit of an undercut. He's definitely not going to get up into the top 5. I don't think that undercut is going to work out too well for him, as he'll cycle back to 7th when this is all said and done. And he's got Matthew David Wood on 10-lap fresher tires right on the back bumper, and now diving it up the inside of that 26 car for P9 here. What a squeeze there for that 26 of Hill to hold him off for now, but 10-lap fresher tires on that 16 and a very quick driver behind the wheel of it. I do not think Paul Hill is going to be able to hold that car off for very long. I think that Matthew David Wood is going to make his way around pretty soon. As Michael Tucker in the pits. That'll be another car down and another car out of the way.
Expecting the 26 there to try to go outside. Dylan Basin with the fastest lap, a 1:12.1. They have knocked 4.5 tenths of a second off through this cycle. Absolutely flying. And what is the gap now? 4.5. It is to the leaders, but again, this scrap is not done. Matthew David Wood still all over Paul Hill, who again's making that outside line work. Obviously, 16 putting it down the inside. Hill trying, as long as they can hang around the outside, they can get through the S's fairly cleanly and into the hairpin.
Here's that move for Wood, back down to the inside. A little bit of contact with the rear bumper of Hill, but he holds him off still. More great defending for Paul Hill on old tires.
This is getting really close here, Sky. Just again, I was gonna say it's simmering. It's bubbled over a couple times. The question is, how many times can it bubble over without it absolutely going crazy? Speaking of which, here, Conklin. Okay, this is Conklin on Corey Moore here, up into 3rd officially.
And Wood, I think, has just gotten that move done on Hill. There he goes. Oh, Hill's gonna get him back. Wood had it for just a moment there, but missed the corner on the send in, and Paul Hill got him right back.
How far did Hill push him to make him go down the inside? Was it kind of a late move by the 26, trying to go as deep as possible?
We'll see what happened. I think the 16 just misses the corner here. The 16 just dives it in a little too deep, trying to get this move done, and just completely whiffs on the corner. And you'll see that right here, a late move for the 16 down to the inside, and he can't keep that car glued to the bottom. He comes back up, and the 26 goes right back under him and opens up a little bit of a gap there, about half a second over Matthew David Wood. Actually scratched that up to a second over Matthew David Wood. As now the closer battle is right in front of him, Robert Miller, Neil Pearson in the battle for P6. This is another battle where, with a very clear tire advantage, Pearson's 10 laps newer than Robert Miller, who was the first car down on this cycle.
Yeah, setting fast laps earlier on. Robert Miller with some serious pace, but not with, or I should say, some serious tire wear as well. Picking up Hoytsma, going through on Corey Moore. Still out there on 36 lap old tires. Yuck. In terms of the feeling for those. I'm gonna look here at Andrew Dyson up at the sharp end. And
yeah,
look at those gaps there, Sky.
He was 0.3 faster last time around, 0.7 faster 2, and 0.4 faster 3 times around. Incredible speed right now for Dylan Basin as he reels back in Andrew Dyson. If you remember, that gap was up over 5 seconds after the pit stop. Basin ran into some traffic with cars like Corey Moore, continued to lose time. No traffic there anymore. He's got clear air in front of him and a clean runway to pursue Andrew Dyson over what will undoubtedly be a very intense, very close last 15 laps of this race, as the RFK car at Dylan Basin tries to steal one away from Andrew Dyson, who has been dominant all night long.
think the math is just about right for them to catch each other with a handful to go. Do not go anywhere. As again, I'm curious what Dyson may have in the tank. This Basin seems to be on the way at this point. Obviously, only 2 laps between Dyson on 8-lap olds, Basin on 6-lap old tires, so not too much in it in that regard. The RFK duo both in the top 3, but neither of them in the top spot. The one that they're wanting. See Basin here just attacking the Sonoma circuit.
Well, Robert Miller into the back of Corey Moore for P5, and that'll open up the door for Neil Pearson to go 3 wide down into turn 7. Close moment for all of those cars. Miller misses the corner, and Pearson will get the spot in the end. So he will be up to P5 around both Miller and Corey Moore there. And oh, Paul Hill is going to go around in real time, trying to make a move through the dirt. He's going to save it and hold the position. Oh my God. After this, we need to see the move Paul Hill just did, because I don't know what I just watched. Yeah, okay, we'll catch Robert Miller here first. This is going to get into the back of Corey Moore. That's going to be Neil Pearson through the middle. Miller breaks way late to try and stave him off, and he's going to end up missing the corner. And then here comes Paul Hill with one of the moves I've ever seen here. Just jumps it, 4 tires in the air, saves the car, and holds the position.
I would love to see Miller's onboard as the 26 shows us how the Dukes of Hazzard move is done there.
Did you see why I was speechless? Why I was not able to formulate words after that one?
I'm trying to process myself. That was absolutely wild, I think, is what I would pin on that one. And again, keeping it in line. It wasn't even the jump. It was the fact that after all that happened, they still had some kind of car try to get it back on the track, and obviously the 15 trying not to have a proper accident here at one of the faster parts of the circuit. Wow, wow, wow. Paul Hill. So the 26 currently in 7th.
He's gonna
still
hopefully
now gonna have first dibs here at Corey Moore.
I'm not sure how Corey Moore is even still out on the racetrack. Oh, Paul Hill into the back of him there. And that'll open the door for Matthew David Wood to go around. Nolan Hodgson into the picture as well. I'm sure Paul Hill is not appreciating Corey Moore at all. I'm really not sure how he's still out there, because he's on 40 laps into this run. I didn't know these cars could go 40 laps, but Corey Moore's making it happen.
Yeah, still currently in the top 10. Robert Miller trying to have a look around the outside. Nothing doing there. 42, very early turn in. As we're here now, William Owens in the 30 is DQ. Once DQ there, running. Well, I was going to say running later on, but actually not running any longer.
No. Fear his night has come to an end here well before when he would like it to.
Working lap 99 here. Up 110 here at Sonoma for the full-length Cup Challenge. Cup cars here at Sonoma. We've seen some serious battles throughout the field. We've seen some quite wild moments. We've also seen a couple of extremely quick drivers who've been caught out for one reason or another. We've had the, we've had the privilege here, Sky, of watching them work their way up through the field with some decisive moves, some door-to-door moves. We've seen an unfortunate incident on pit. Speaking
I just
of
watched
which, Andrew
Komaseski
Dyson.
almost
I know
spin
I
in front of
shouldn't chuckle
Hoytsma.
that hard, but the 41 really is. I mean, I think he's interested in turning his car on its roof, and it's just not happening for him. He just keeps going around the track.
Yeah, he's just going for it here. Oh my goodness, this is getting really dicey right around the Lucas Hoytsma part of the field. He's almost crashed into 2-lap cars here. That one is getting really dicey back there. Might be a little bit. Let's see. Oh yeah, there goes yeah, there's that first moment there where I was like, uh-oh, what's going on? And then Hoytsma almost got into the rear end of one of the cars in front of him here a few corners later. It's been a ride for Lucas Hoytsma, that's for sure.
Go around the outside here, now around the inside, able to get through.
Yeah,
that
bad to
kinda
worse
almost
for
happening.
Komachevsky back there. Hey, 10 laps to go. Next time around, Dylan Basin is kind of stalled. His progress towards Andrew Dyson, not what it once was. He was quicker last time by, but only by about 1/10 of a second, and he's going to need to pick up a lot more than 1/10 of a second. He's going to need to average about 4/10 of a second if he wants to get to this 41 car before this race is over.
Yeah, brutal water line that Dyson has put out there, and Basin trying to keep their head above it. And it is a tall order trying to stick with that 41. Back here, Paul Hill still trying to have a look at Hodgson. We have kind of a 4-car snake there, almost 5. Blake Kluwat bringing up the backside of that one. There's something going on here with the 83 of Adam Benefield. Potentially had an issue. We'll catch this one, see what happened here.
He's had a couple tonight, so would not like to see another one for him as he makes his way down the track, down into turns 4 to 7 here as we cut out 5 and 6 for the 83 car. Let's see what he does down in turn 6 here. He's going to keep it, or turn 7 here, excuse me, keep it clean. Oh, no, he's going to spin it out all on his own. A little bit of scrape to the wall. Could have been worse. Could have been worse for that 83.
Yeah, we've seen that a couple times with a couple different cars potentially on the upshift, getting out of 7A. As, moment there, right up against the wall, no contact. Devin Medeiros in the 20. Bobby Anderson and Tanner Marty on the way. And not the largest of scares, but obviously not going the direction that they are wanting, and now are picking up Ralph Hutchinson at the back of the 14. Seems to have, I'll go ahead and say it out loud here, this guy seems to have settled a little bit here.
Yeah.
We still have 8 laps to go. And again, we're seeing more and more mistakes. Obviously, this is kind of the end of the road here.
Before we say that, let's get up to this Nolan Hodgson area, because we've got Nolan Hodgson, Paul Hill, and Robert Miller, and about 3 lap cars up here as well. All right under the back of one another. Timothy Harper got moved out of the way a little bit by Hodgson, went off the road, and then rejoins right in front of Robert Miller right there. Miller's going to take a punch to the back from Devin Medeiros. That's a close call. And it will be Paul Hill and Nolan Hodgson making it out fairly cleanly, as Robert Miller has still got to deal with a couple lap cars. Looks like he'll finally get down past Timothy Harper here and be able to pursue those 2 up in front of him.
So yeah, like I said, it's calmed down. No, this is exciting. This is pretty close wheel-to-wheel stuff. And that's Delaney and Kluwat trying to sort this. Apologies, this is now looking at the 20 of Devin Medeiros. That's Timothy Harper in the 23 Hardy's machine. They're trying to sort out their differences. Back up to the very front here. Andrew Dyson led early on. A couple of issues later on, involved with an incident as well. Still has a decent amount of driving to do.
Not only is traffic's going to play a role in this for Dyson, but the one thing he does have on his side is time, as he catches up to Corey Moore back here after finally making that pit stop. There's not a lot of time left. It'll be 7 to go at the line this time, and Andrew Dyson has a pretty sizable lead that Basin will, I would say, really need to pick up the pace if he wants to cut into that lead. I mean, Dyson being stuck behind these lappers is obviously going to help, but even with this lap traffic, I think Basin is still going to need a little more, because Basin is probably going to have to go through basically the same lap traffic that Dyson is to catch up to this car.
Yeah, we also saw Corey Moore there in the 42, not getting out of the way the same way that they did earlier on in the race, obviously trying to keep with Casey Graves only a second in that battle for 19th. So the 42. Yeah, it's going to be quite the tricky tiptoeing act through. A little bit of dirt kicked up for our leader. 6 to go. Like a good one here right at the end here in Sonoma.
Yeah, it's going to be a really tight battle to the finish here. That is the one thing that we know pretty much for certain is Dyson and Basin are going to continue to do battle. Gap is down a little bit with Dyson going through that lap traffic, but I think it's going to go back up as Basin has also gotten stuck behind the lap car here going down through the S's. He's going to make a little bit of a risk-of-the move there around Corey Moore, and he'll get that spot. But he just has so much work to do over these last 6 laps. There'll be pedal to the floor for sure, but will that be enough is the big question here.
Gained about half a second over, apologies, gained about a second or so over the last 2 laps. Just about. Commentator Matt, yes?
Something like that.
I think that opportunity, I think that second was helped obviously by the lap traffic. And I don't think that kind of opportunity will happen 2 times in a row after this. As again, from Dyson's point of view, obviously Dyson just wants to throw the flag early if that's fine. And Basin obviously wants about 10 more laps. You're going to get neither. Coming up to, again, just a handful. And again, watching Basin doing battle with the other cars trying to get to the back of Dyson. And that gap is 1.8.
And that is in the last lap, maybe not so much in Basin's favor, but it is slowly turning into Basin's favor here. Again, it really is all just how much time is left here. Whoa, almost had a moment there for Basin. He's really, I mean, driving the wheels off this thing, trying to close this gap. He's all in to try and steal this win away right here in the later stages of this race. We'll check the timing across the line for you. Basin definitely went quicker that last time around. Let's take a peek. Half a second quicker, so he is picking up that pace. We'll see what he can do down the stretch.
Lost about 2/10 there with the left rear all in the Sonoma dirt. We're having a look here off of the back of Dyson. And oh man, again, it seems like you have the pace, you're just running out of laps. You have to have even more pace if you're gonna get up to the back, and obviously trying not to throw it away, but certainly hustling is the 06. Dyson, Basin for the lead. We're hearing nothing, seeing nothing in front of Dyson. Dyson just going to try to demolish Sonoma a handful more times, coming up on 4 to go this time by, as we pick up this battle here for 8th.
And he's very clearly got an advantage here, does Andrew Dyson. As we're going to get a battle a little bit deeper in the field here. Paul Hill and Nolan Hodgson are going at it. This is for P7 and P8 respectively, as these two continue to do battle. As Paul Hill, like I said, was running up in the top 5 for points this race. Isn't going to finish up in the top 5, but could still have a very good day. Could still manage to find a way to bring this car home P7, even though he is running on about 13 lap older tires than Hodgson at the moment. This is Matthew David Wood all over the back bumper of Neil Pearson. 2 cars on an equal tire strategy and 2 cars who have a lot to play for down to the end of this one, as it is 4 to go and Basin not closing like he needs to.
Sky, I think that the RFK cars, 2nd and 3rd, is extremely impressive. Obviously, they've had the pace. But even for Basin to get to 2nd and be there as strong as they've been is really impressive. How about Conklin? How about the 17 coming all the way back through? Fresh tires, sure. Having tons of pace, sure. It's not just about pace here. It's about getting those moves done. It's about all of that momentum, and it can really put you in a bad spot. But the 17 has just still made an enormous impact on this race.
And we are really coming down to the end of this one now. Time running out for any final moves to be made. Time running out for Dylan Basin to do anything to catch Andrew Dyson, who has pulled a 2-second lead out at the front of the field. These are going to be the final moves made. It's going to be right around this mid-pack area here with Neil Pearson and Matthew David Wood, along with a little bit deeper in the field, Nolan Hodgson and Paul Hill in there as well. If we're going to see any passes over these last 2 laps, last 3 laps, it's going to come from those parts of the field.
DW looking white, menacing. Behind the 62. Quarter of a second in, about a car length in it. But they're still the current way round that Pearson would prefer. Would not obviously prefer this. And once that fifth spot, going for it right now there. Any kind of lockup. Oh, and spins it. That is not the direction that the 16 wants to be in. Has to jump over that mountain of a curb. They may lose out to Nolan Hodgson here, trying to come through at full blast. Does the 16 have an answer for the number 12? Make the way through the S's there. Again, we spoke about that right at the beginning there, Sky, about the idea of going for a move can often lose you a lot more than you gain.
Yeah.
And MDW, again, same spot.
He's going to be under threat from Nolan Hodgson, Paul Hill here coming out in the end of this one. That's for sure. He's not out of the woods just yet here. He could still lose a position if Nolan Hodgson puts that car in turbo mode over these last 2 laps.
Quick side note, I cannot imagine a turbo on these cars. Like a little twin turbo that spools up. I never.
Dylan Bason's going to have to find one here if he wants to win this race.
Yeah. Really is going to be, again, losing 2/10 here, 1/10 there. If you just added them all up, then you'd be right on the back. But it's all those little decisions that go into making a good race here. We pick up the 06. He was trying to pick up the pace, but it's looking good so far here. I say so far, we are down to the final lap here. Andrew Dyson, your leader at the moment in the 41, led early on. Got some good restarts. Had a little bit of drama a little bit earlier on. Had a reasonably good run of things. 4 times down pit road.
Ooh.
And
Close
still
call
has
there for
about
Noah
a second
Hodgson
and a
deeper in
half.
the field as Andrew Dyson continues to run away. I'm just watching all these battles. It's crazy out here.
Bason's still 1.5. It looks like the 41 is trying to spend the time that they had. So again, a couple of tenths of a second. Basin coming back at them, but that's just going to be the 41 trying to, again, just kind of stiff-arming Basin, probably about the second mark or so. And 1.5 corners to go here. Andrew Dyson around turn 11. And through the kink, the 41 of Andrew Dyson is going to be your winner here in Sonoma.
Dylan Basin will bring it home P2 after a great run for him, and then it should be Sean Conklin back here in the 13 car. Another RFK car finishing 3rd with his teammate Dylan Basin, who finishes 2nd. Lucas Hoytsma will bring it home P4 tonight in that 97. Neil Pearson 5th, and then you've still got a position up for grabs here with Hodgson and Wood for P6 as we make our way down through the final chicane. Wood is going to blow it. Hodgson's to the door. This is for P6 as we come to the start-finish line, but Wood gets a good run out of the corner. It'll be Matthew David Wood 6th, Hodgson 7th, Hill 8th, Miller, Delaney, your top 10 tonight. This is for 14th.
Trying to...
Yeah,
I was going to jump in there with Tucker and Truel there for 14th. Going to go all the way down to the hairpin. We see not much in it. Truel hugging that inside wall. Narrow line, and that may be just enough. Just a defensive line is all that is needed. 71 coming across for 14th. Oh, and my goodness me. What a tank stop. Michael Tucker trying to hang on to it there for 15th and is unable. Hey, you can save it. Oh, not quite.
Oh.
On the correct side of the start-finish line. See Dyson doing some drag racing there. Andrew Dyson, the top of the race results after 110 laps here, takes it here in Sonoma, 2 seconds ahead of Dylan Basin. Sean Conklin coming all the way back through the field in the 17 to make it to third place. Lucas Hoitzma in fourth position. Neil Pearson is fifth. Matthew David Wood in sixth. Nolan Hodgson, Paul Hill, Robert Miller, and Jonathan Delaney 7th through 10th.
And then back from there, you've got Blake Cluat in 11 in the 14th car. Ralph Hutchison, Adam Benefiel, Hunter Truel, Michael Tucker back in 15th. And then rounding out your top 20 tonight, it's Alan Duggar, Sean O'Brien, Casey Graves, Corey Moore, and Cameron Stone.
Continuing with the cars that were single lap down there, Bobby Anderson and Devin Medeiros. Last car, 1 lap down, 2 laps down was Marty and Harper. Jose Medina in the 40 was 3 laps down. And then Thomas Komacheski in the 88, 26, 15 laps down. William Owens, 18. Joseph Gulata lost them a little later on as well, the 99. Alex Coffey, DQ'd there. Nicholas Vroman went the way of the dodo there. Chad Sander the same. Blake Giglio, Mesnard, Hunter, Williams, Isaacs, Taylor, and Dustin Hall round out your 38 car field.
And that will be the end of your field tonight. We're going to take a second to get everybody up into the booth. Your top 3 finishers. We'll take a quick commercial break here on Maconi Entertainment.
Racing isn't easy, but experiencing it is. iRacing puts you in the driver's seat with the industry's leading sim racing game. Drive on laser scan replicas of the greatest racing circuits from around the world. Go head-to-head against other drivers chosen by skill-based matchmaking to ensure competitive racing at every level. Compete across all your favorite series. In officially licensed cars, engineered to deliver the most accurate driving experience possible. Join a race or host your own with players from across the globe. Race against the computer or in a league with friends. Feel the thrill behind the wheel. Visit iRacing.com.
When you want to be the best, you can't settle for the rest. For anything on iRacing, there's just one name you need, Maconi.
With the launch of Maconi Entertainment and Maconi Competizone alongside Maconi Setup Shop, we now provide the best of the best in setups, paint schemes, coaching, broadcasting, and event organization.
With cars across all 4 license classes, we have what you need to hit the track with confidence. Grab a subscription and save money while going fast at MaconiSetupShop.com/subscriptions.
And remember, at Maconi Setup Shop, there are setups, but your victories.
Welcome back to Sonoma, where we just finished up a 110 lapper here. And we are speaking to the second place driver in the FLCC Cup race we just had here. That'll be Basin. And Sky caught up with them in the booth.
Hey, Dylan, how you doing?
I'm pretty frustrated. How about you?
Pretty good up here, but I didn't have to drive the race you just did. P2 tonight. How's it feel?
Feels like a loss. There's a lot of factors that, like, even before going into the week, just stuff we figured out that makes you a little bit angry about this loss, and then just getting held up by people and lap cars being in the worst possible spots while he gets the easier path through, and then I feel like the gap that I lost by was the time that I lost from them. So I'm just when you're that fast, like especially for me at a road course, like I don't have this road course pace very often. So when you're that quick and you come up short, it just feels pretty frustrating, especially after finishing P2 so many times this season.
Yeah, what was your strategy there, both on that final pit stop to pit when you did, and then also the final run?
I mean, I didn't know when he was gonna pit. I mean, I know he had a little bit less fuel than I did, but I still think he had a few more. So he just pit whenever he did, and I can't just follow him in there because I can't do the same thing as him. Like I'm just gonna sit in the same place that I had been the whole time. Like I was faster, but I wasn't fast enough to just go and run him down naturally. So, um, yeah, I really just wanted to get a little bit of an overcut, give myself some kind of tire advantage, and let her eat. I mean, we're putting down some really good laps, just not enough time. And the even if I was running the fastest laps of the whole race, he was only a tenth or two off of that. So like, it just wasn't big enough gains.
Who do you have to thank tonight?
All the guys at Ryko, I mean, they put together a ripper. Yeah, all my family for watching, RFK Racing for letting me represent them, and thank you guys for being on the broadcast booth covering this race.
All right, congrats on P2 tonight, Dylan Basin.
All right, thank you.
And we're going to throw it over to James, who is standing by with our second place finisher tonight, the 17 of Sean Conklin. Third place finisher tonight, the 17 of Sean Conklin.
Sean Conklin here. James and Sky up in the booth. You got a copy?
I got you.
Excellent. The 17 was on the move all night long. You were right up at the sharp end. You had a couple of issues, it looked like, in the middle of stage 2, it seemed. And we also had that 1 minute 16 second pit stop. How was the race overall from your perspective?
Oh, it was definitely really chaotic, but yeah, when you gotta go, you gotta go. So I had to go to the bathroom there, really bad. I guess I drink a lot of water before that race. Was trying to get replenished. We were outside working all day on our new garage, just me and my dad working on it. So um, yeah, that's my excuse for losing this race. It's a pretty wacky one, but. Yeah, I felt like we had the pace, but just circumstances and still really cool to go back to 30th there and then made it all the way back up to third. We were probably gonna stay within the same second bracket, but then we got taken out about two more times when I was trying to chase those guys down. So had a little bit of damage and the tires were quite hot. So just did all we could there. I tried to manage them to the end in case a caution came out, so I was driving around really, really slow, seeing if I could get a caution and maybe have a little bit better tires if everyone was going to stay out there. But overall, really chaotic, but still good points.
Definitely, we saw Dylan Basin only down pit road 3 times and able to hang in there in second place. When it came to battling out there, who was the toughest person in terms of position to get around?
Um, Everybody really. I mean, the dirty air is pretty bad, so it was hard to get around everybody. But yeah, just mostly the guys up front. It was really hard because even if they're only a few tenths off on pace, the dirty air kind of makes up for that, and they can just kind of sit in that bubble, and you can't really get there or try to make the moves. But yeah, passing was really tough tonight, especially with some of the lap cars. But we were able to make our way back to the front and just get a decent finish.
We're going to Chicagoland next time out. You excited about that one?
Not particularly. I'm not the biggest fan of Chicagoland. It's not one of my best tracks. I had never really finished good there in anything, but yeah. Well, I mean, we'll obviously give it a shot, and we'll be there next week.
Excellent. Anybody you'd like to shout out or thank?
Yeah, I'd like to shout out Ranko Performance when the set was on fire. Seeing the 1, 2, 3 finish tonight was really cool. I looked up and saw that, and I was like, hell yeah. But yeah, all those guys at Rayco really flying set. We were gone, us three from the rest of the field, and just all the guys, RFK, Built Submarines, Bodyguard, Fastenal, all those guys that helped me on the Coke side, and yeah, that's about it.
Well, again, obviously not what you were looking for, but congratulations on a fight back up to P3, and we'll let you go.
Thank you.
Sean Conklin there, pilot of the 17, finishing P3. And now we will bring in the 41 of Andrew Dyson, your winner here in Sonoma. Andrew, it's James and Sky in the booth. You got a copy?
Hello again.
Hello, hello. Well, an eventful day. All sorts of stuff going on there. 4 times down pit road. Basin nipping at your heels there. A majority of that run. How was it out there from your perspective?
Well, there was a bit happening, like you said. There was, after the last time we spoke, it sort of kicked off, which I didn't really expect to go in the way it did. I mean, I made a bit of a mistake there when I was passing John. I was a little too wide, and then I just didn't keep an eye on the mirror and got myself turned. So that was pretty silly. And then it just so happened that a few laps later, I ended up running into, who was it? Lucas again. So complete mistake on my behalf. But other than that, race went pretty well. Kept it clean for the most part. A few little close calls with some guys, but other than that, it was really good, man. It had me sweating there in those last few laps. I knew that if I had pitted first, I had to back myself and go in. And then I knew that the guys behind, like Dylan, they'd overcut, they'd have an advantage coming to the end, and so I would basically just have to not look behind and just run the best laps I could. And so, but yeah, like I said, had me sweating, but I was able to bring it home.
It certainly was a tough ending to the race there, as again, Basin trying to knock on the door of 3 seconds, knocking it down to 2, knocking down to 1.5, but 1.5 seconds will do it. And again, really, really good run there. In terms of the starts, you were in the lead for a majority of the start there. Basically, at what point were you thinking, oh, I could take this one home? This might be mine.
Well, I mean, I think every one of these road races you come into, you sort of know who the fast guy is going to be and whether you're going to be in with a shot or not based on how you are racing them in the first half of the race. And so for a few races this year, I've had a good chance. I've had some good speed, but for any number of reasons, I've had little mistakes here and there, or just simply not read the rules or done silly things like that. So, I sort of feel like I always have a good chance coming to the road races. I never count on anything and certainly don't expect anything, but I knew that today, if I at least had the clean air, that would give myself the best shot.
You certainly were one of the quicker cars, obviously. Next time out, Chicagoland. How are you feeling about that one?
Man, I don't think I've raced in Chicagoland for years. So I don't think the last time I raced there might have been some random dude hosting, a little random race there in supercars, of all things, racing around Chicagoland. So it was a bit of fun. So I think I sort of know the track from that. I'll need to get out there and start running some laps to get my eye in and to work it out. But man, can I just say a quick shout out to Kyle Ammon? He put together this really cool Pisswasser paint for me today. The nothing but the best low quality German lager for export only. Love the paint. Can I say a big thanks to all the guys in TCSP, especially in our chat tonight. They were in a helicopter telling me what was going on, so appreciate that. Radio on back to me, helping me out a little bit there. And thanks to all you guys for putting on this show, and all the guys behind the league who make this happen. So thanks to those guys.
Excellent. Well, Andrew Dyson, congratulations on this win. Go enjoy it, and we appreciate you joining us up here in the booth.
Thank you, sir. No problem. My pleasure.
Andrew Dyson there, walking away with the big trophy there. Well then, Sky, that was an eventful one to say the least. Very, very exciting. I'd love to hear your final thoughts here.
Oh yeah, that one was a ton of fun. I think that was a great race, start to finish. Had some great action through the first stage to the second stage, and even still some close battles right down to the end of that one.
Certainly was something that kept us on the edge of our seats here. And so all that's left to do now is to say good evening here. I've been James Newton, Sky Shrek alongside in the booth, Morgan Cook in the broadcast booth, pushing the buttons, making this look and sound amazing. We'll be headed to Chicagoland next time out, but for now, we will say goodnight here from the full-length Cup Challenge NASCAR at Sonoma here on Maconi Entertainment.
When you want to be the best, you can't settle for the rest. For anything on iRacing, there's just one name you need, Maconi.
With the launch of Maconi Entertainment and Maconi Competizone alongside Maconi's Setup Shop, we now provide the best of the best in setups, paint schemes, coaching, broadcasting, and event organization.
With cars across all 4 license classes, we have what you need to hit the track with confidence. Grab a subscription and save money while going fast at MaconiSetupShop.com/subscriptions.
And remember, at Maconi Setup Shop, there are setups, but your victories.